de eso conversé 2 veces con Anita y cuando lo pedí el viernes, sí, míralo allá. Venga, papel de mano. Acá me trae la puerta, ¿no? Entonces, the mayor has one. No, yo le pregunto a usted.
It was added after the fact.
Estamos ganando con Venezuela. Estamos ganando porque eso, lo que están perdiendo son ellos. Y acobardados. Todos están acobardados.
Además,
pero oigan, qué valientes son esos muchachos y esas damas allá.
Ese equipo del gobierno es un equipo traicionero, todo.
Okay, it's 8 o'clock, we're going to start the meeting. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Allá llegó David.
Clerk will know all members present. Okay, let's stand up for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's stand up for the invocation.
Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you now, Lord, and we give thanks, Lord, for having such an amazing day, dear God. Lord, right now we pray as we all assemble here, dear Father, and under this roof, Lord, we pray for your guidance and your wisdom to make the right choices, Lord. Although sometimes they may be difficult, dear Father, we pray that you give us the peace to know that you're in control, dear Father, of all outcomes, and that you are with each and every one of us. Lord, we also pray that you envelop those soldiers and our police officers here, dear Father, and that you may protect them from all harm that may come to them. Dear Lord, I pray again that you be with us, Lord, and that you guide our footsteps for this city. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Venezuela.
Have a special presentation. Okay, now I'm going to go to A, presentation of proclamation. Okay, so We move on. Presentation of proclamation to Mr. Jorge Rosario, Commissioner Villanueva.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Unfortunately, George Rosario, the Director of Security for Dolphin Mall, who's been with us for several years, he's been a strong advocate for safety and security in the city of Sweetwater. He had an unforeseen issue today. He couldn't make it, but I'd like to present Mr. George Rosario with a proclamation on behalf of the city of Sweetwater at the next commission meeting or special commission meeting, and I'd love to involve all the commissioners because this is something that the city of Sweetwater has to unite behind. Obviously, the safety and security of our residents, our patrons, and the visitors of Dolphin Mall. So I will be presenting that item at the next commission meeting or special commission meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now we have presentation Employee of the Month Award.
I will defer this till next month.
Presentation Officer of the Month Award.
We're going to go ahead and also defer.
Reports of officers, boards, and committees. No. Additions and deletions to the agenda. Okay, I have staff item
Okay.
B. No, I'm saying, yeah, Kate is going to be added. I'm just going to be moving deferred item B for the next meeting. And we're going to be adding item K.
So we're deferring staff B. Item
B?
Yeah, staff B.
Chair. Can I request for item C to be moved before item A?
Okay.
To be heard first?
Yeah.
So C is going to be first, and okay, hold just 1 minute. Okay, anything else? So we can move on.
Madam President, you need you need a motion and a second and a vote
Hold on.
for the additions.
Yes, and I skipped one. Okay. Okay, so you second?
Second.
Okay. I move and you second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 9. Petitions, communications, and remonstrances. Okay, we have Jose A. Cuenca.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Jose Cuenca. My address is 11352 Southwest 5th Street. The reason I wanted to speak is I wanted to ask, in the last meeting, there was a discussion about, and I'm sorry, I didn't look at the financial statements for the city, but it was said that there was about 150 to 200,000 set aside for infrastructure for the city. Can someone clarify that for me?
Were you directing your question?
I'm not supposed to direct it to one person. That's what it says here. I'm supposed to direct it to everyone.
If you're asking about the discussion that we had after the meeting, it's not in this budget. In next budget, there's $900,000 that are earmarked for street repair and $150,000 for sidewalk repair.
Fantastic. But you said next. When is the next?
Next budget starts October 1st.
October 1st. Okay.
Correct.
And does that mean that you would decide October 1st? Is that, or is that a final decision, or will it be finalized?
No, the city is still in the process of budget workshops. The budget will not be finalized till late September.
Okay. And do we know the projects yet, or it's too early to know what projects or what sidewalks will be targeted?
No, those have not been earmarked yet.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Juan Silva? Not here? Jose Mejia?
Good evening, Commissioners. Jose Mejia, 10634 Southwest 5th Street, Miami, Florida, 33174. First off, I just wanted to start with Commissioner Villanueva. Commissioner, I find it, and I'm going to say it in Spanish, lo encuentro very unfortunate que el comisionado Villanueva, su campaña era en base de muchas cosas que eran falsas, por cual uno de ellos era que supuestamente era retirado. That's not the case. Eso no es el caso. Yo tengo un memo del Departamento de Policía de Sweetwater, enero 27 de este año, que él pidió que le pagaran leave of absence para que él pudiera hacer campaña hasta mayo 10, empezando eso. Y la segunda mentira, que usted está casado con Claudia. Eso es una mentira, igual, no estás casado, esa es tu marinovia. Y la tercera, que la encuentro más peligrosa todavía, and very shocking, que usted como miembro del Little Abner Foundation, okay, propone una resolución 2 veces para darle, que es el Resolution number 17, para darle $35,000 a ese foundation. Eso es un conflicto de interés directamente. That's a huge conflict of interest, of which Miami-Dade County Commission on Ethics and Public Trust has already been notified of it, because I filed that complaint. I believe it's the third of quite a few to come, because you overstep your boundaries on numerous occasions. Y encima de eso, me gustaría decirle que cuando usted atacó al comisionado Dualso y le faltó el respeto, igual como la comisionada Idania Yaño, you mentioned que Dualso slanders you and defames you. Aquí el único que comete defamación y slander es usted, porque en muchas ocasiones me ha dicho que yo soy criminal, que I'm a drug dealer, esto, lo otro, muchas cosas por cual a mí jamás y nunca me han convictido. So a usted, señor, le debe dar mucha pena, mucha pena. Pero bueno, una persona como usted, con todos sus questionable traits, nunca le da pena, porque así es. That's how someone in your standards is. Another thing, resolution item K that the administration is bringing forward. Yo tengo un quote de John Deere que le va a ahorrar a esta ciudad casi $1,000. Le va a dar un equipo mucho mejor del equipo que le está proponiendo Caterpillar a esta ciudad. Y encima de eso, le va a dar igualito cada attachment que tiene el Caterpillar quote. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
And for the record, I'm going to give this to the Commissioner of the President. This is for item K.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
All right, so your time is up, sir. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
And then we move on to Olga Hernandez.
Through the chair.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
I didn't hear you.
That's okay. Mr. Mejia. So I'm going to say it in Spanish, then I'll translate it in English, since I think that people should have the right to hear and understand. Lo voy a explicar en español sobre las cosas bien lindas que me has dicho sobre mí y más la madre mía. Primero, usted dice que yo tomé un leave of absence. Me parece que usted tiene que estudiar un poco más. El primer documento que yo entregué a la ciudad de Sweetwater era un leave of absence, eso es un hecho. Pero después de ese documento, en colaboración con el estatus y las leyes del estado de Florida, lo que se llama resign to run, yo tuve que renunciar y retirar de mi posición de teniente de la policía para aspirar a la posición de comisionado. Y eso fue lo que hice. Eso tiene que estudiar un poco más. No te voy a responder sobre lo que has dicho de la madre de mi hija, pero bueno, eso habla sobre la falta de ética que usted tiene. Y otra vez le digo, yo nunca he dicho que usted ha sido convicto, pero sí te ha dicho tu cara que usted es un criminal. Usted es un criminal porque lo arrestaron por robo armado, agredir a una persona con una pistola, posesión de marihuana, y en el 13 de febrero de este año, cuando usted era candidato a la comisión, el Departamento de Policía de Collier County te arrestó por transportar 2 libras de marihuana en Collier County en tu carro. Eso es un hecho. Eso para mí, yo no tengo que ser policía para saber que usted es un criminal. Y lo que son slander y defamation of character, esas cosas se dicen cuando son mentiras. Pero lo que yo he dicho, lo que yo he hablado sobre tu persona y tu pasado y tu récord policiaco es un hecho. Siempre lo traigo. No sé por qué usted lo hace. Usted ha sido arrestado. Usted tiene un pasado criminal. No interrumpe, caballero. Tenga ética. Tenga ética.
No. Pasas entero aguantando esa foto, por arriba y abajo.
Ok, ahora esto es la manera de tratar de hacer esto lo más profesional posible, porque para mí usted no se puede controlar.
Profesional cuando me sacaste el dedo en
estamos hablando, Madam Chair, I need you to bang that gavel and bring order here.
I apologize, Chair.
Please. Let's do this. You already have your 3 minutes, so will you please, sit down.
Madam Chair, if I can continue, I just need order for him. I'll yield the floor in a second.
So he finished with his 3 minutes.
That's okay, but I'm almost done.
I'll sit down, Chair.
Thank you.
What I need to do is I need to propose something to the City Commission. Per the City Charter, Section 2-57, subsection B, where it states, by other persons, any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks, or who shall become boisterous while addressing the City Commission shall be forthwith barred by presiding officer from further audience before the City Commission unless permission to continue is granted by a majority vote of the Commission. Now, in the Charter, it also says that any one Commissioner can present this motion and be seconded. But before I do that, I have a legal question for legal sufficiency to our City Attorney. Mr. Attorney, in your legal opinion, would you say that Mr. Jose Mejia fits the criteria on violation of Section 2-57 on decorum?
As it relates to the rules of decorum, frankly, it is not necessarily a legal question, Commissioner Villanueva. If any one commissioner believes that the section of decorum has been violated, can definitely bring it up to the President of the Commission. If the President of the Commission herself believes that there's been a violation of the provision relative to decorum, she can go ahead and request the removal of that person, or basically prevent that person from speaking on the floor. It is just not a legal question per se.
I understand. And what I was asking was basically the legal sufficiency. Does it meet the criteria?
If you believe that the rules of decorum have been breached,
Yeah.
You may petition your colleagues at this point.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong, no one commissioner has more authority than another. We have as a body. So I can actually present a motion on the floor, have a second, and then as a commission, as a body, we can also vote. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So first, let me pose the question to Madam Chair. Madam Chair, are you, in your opinion, are you prepared to remove Mr. Jose Mejia from the commission meetings?
Okay. You just got me by surprise because I was expecting to have a motion right now. Right now, I'm not in favor of to do yes or no. I would like to really look into more information, because if I let him to stop talking, I may have to do the same thing for some other people that might come. So I just, please, for the next meeting, let me get more information and be more than glad to make a decision. I don't like to make a decision right on the spot.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay.
And if I can have the floor again, then I present a motion to the commission, waiting for a second, to remove Mr. Jose Mejia from the commission meetings. Do I have a second? And it appears as though the motion dies, and with that, I yield the floor.
So we move on to Olga Hernandez.
Good evening. After that. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
My name is Olga Hernandez. I am from the office of Miami-Dade County Mayor Jose Pepe Diaz. Oh, Commissioner, I'm sorry. Maybe it's a Freudian for the future, who knows? Okay, just to let you know that Commissioner Diaz has sponsored in Miami-Dade County today, and by the way, was unanimously approved to sponsor a resolution condemning the recent elections in Venezuela. This also urges the Trump administration to grant temporary protected status to Venezuelans living in the United States. Along with the resolution, there is a letter drafted by Commissioner Diaz and signed by his colleagues and Miami-Dade Mayor Carlos Jimenez, condemning the recent elections and requesting more sanctions on the Maduro regime. Voy a decirlo en español. Buenas noches, mi nombre es Olga Hernández de la oficina del comisionado José Pepe Díaz de Miami-Dade County. Muchas gracias. Hoy, en Miami-Dade County, el comisionado José Pepe Díaz pasó una resolución que fue aprobada unánime en el condado que va a rechazar más categóricamente las pasadas elecciones en Venezuela. Adicional, le está pidiendo a la administración del presidente Trump otorgar el estatus de protección temporal a los venezolanos viviendo en los Estados Unidos. Adicional, también incluye una carta hecha por el comisionado José Pepe Díaz y firmado por sus colegas y alcalde Carlos Jiménez, pidiéndole y condenando al presidente Donald Trump que condene las pasadas elecciones y requiriendo más sanciones contra el régimen de Maduro. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Pepe Díaz.
Commissioner.
Commissioner.
Yes. Okay. Now, A, request of Mr. Richard Quintana, 245 Southwest, 109 Place, Sweetwater, Florida, to address the City Commission.
Thank you, sir. Excuse me. Do you have one for the
One
clerk?
for the record?
Yes. Can I?
Good evening. My name is Richard Quintana. My address is 245 Southwest 102nd Place. I'm here in regards to the duck removal issue that's been a major issue here in Sweetwater. I came on April 3rd. That was the last commission meeting that I came in and I attended. I also emailed the commissioners and the mayor on June 14th and on July 20th regarding this issue. The response that I received was from Commissioner Villanueva by email. I also had Commissioner Diaz who came to my house in person and spoke to me about it. I'm here on behalf of myself, but also my neighbors that live near me. This has been an ongoing issue that we've been plagued with here in the city. The issue at hand is the duck infestation issue. I live on Southwest 3rd Street between 102nd Avenue and 103rd Place. And what stands out is on any given day, there are between 25 and 30 ducks that roam the streets there. This issue has only gotten worse over time. I mentioned this at the April meeting that I attended. One of the things that we notice is that the ducks are in driveways, they block city streets, they leave feces all throughout driveways. It's a public health hazard. Much of the feces that's left there can contain salmonella or E. coli. I have 2 young children. I find it to be a public health hazard with my children coming outside to play, coming into a driveway that has fecal matter all over it. Some of my neighbors, for example, have had issues within their households as well outside. The ducks will fly onto cars, they will fly onto rooftops, they can cause tile damage to the roofs. And this has been, again, an ongoing issue, and I feel that it has only been exacerbated when the construction began along the canal area here along 8th Street, forcing the ducks to move more inland and into our neighborhoods. So here I am basically asking the commission for help regarding this issue. The issue has also worsened over time because we have, in our particular street alone on Southwest 3rd Street, which is just 2 blocks from where the mayor lives, On that street alone, we have 2 neighbors that on a daily basis feed these ducks. The ducks basically are fed every day, they continue breeding, and the last time the mayor had mentioned at the April meeting was that there's a city ordinance in place that says that it's illegal to feed the ducks, yet it's not enforced. These neighbors haven't been warned, they haven't been fined, and I know that it's an issue of enforcement. The way I feel, if there's an ordinance that's been passed, it should be enforced. Why have the ordinance in the first place? So I find this to be a huge issue. So there's that issue regarding the neighbors having fed the ducks and it being enforced in terms of the ordinance. Now, how do you get rid of the ducks is the bigger issue at hand. I know that the mayor had mentioned as a possible solution in working with the university, Florida International University in particular, and having the ducks relocated to the campus, to one of the natural habitats there. Florida Wildlife Commission stipulates that it is legal to capture the ducks, but it is illegal to relocate them to any location. This same problem happened in Coconut Grove regarding the peacock issue that they had there. The city tried to intervene. They tried to relocate them to natural habitats, and none of the natural habitats wanted to take the peacocks in their area. I feel that the same issue would happen with the university. I find it to be very bureaucratic. I find it to be very slow going. What we want as neighbors, it may sound like a trivial issue, but what we want is a solution to the problem. We're all constituents here of all the commissioners. We vote in all the local elections. We want it to be resolved. In the email that I provided for you all, you'll notice that I have attached pictures of the duck issue. You'll notice that there are ducks that are fed in the first page. You notice how they're fed there. You notice that they're on rooftops. And on any given day, again, there's 15 or 20 ducks in front of the houses. What we basically are petitioning the commission to do, instead of relocating the ducks to a natural habitat, to finally get involved and to have an animal control company capture the ducks and remove them from the neighborhood. I listed on this particular letter 2 websites of animal control companies, and that's just 2. There is a plethora of animal control companies that are willing to do the service. It basically ranges around $50 per duck to round them up. I feel that it's a pittance compared to some of the other money that's used in the city in order to make your residents happy. We would basically want the commission to intervene and take care of this issue for us. I know the commission is now entering into a financial session now where they're going to review the budget. I would greatly implore them to review this issue in order to have this ducks and the infestation basically dealt with in our neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Chair. Thank you, Mr. Quintana, for coming to address us. The fact that you came here today, this evening, I think shows how fed up you must be with the issue. And I think you share the same sentiments as most residents do east of 107th Avenue. It's a huge problem. They're aggressive ducks. You know, they put their feces all over the place, and they're an invasive species, Muscovy ducks. They're actually not. That's why they're not allowed over here, or why a lot of communities won't accept them. My concern with transporting them somewhere is that, again, it's one of the things that you mentioned. I do know, however, there's actually exists a duck safe haven in Florida where this woman voluntarily will accept any duck that you bring to them, so you don't actually have to, exterminate them, and she will take them on. We have to, I think, explore all possibilities. This is one of the reasons I added this as a discussion item on the agenda. If you look at item G, I think we're all here want to address the issue. It's just a matter of we don't know how much it costs, and we do need to start. I think we do need to start procuring quotes on the different options that are available. That source that you provided, Animal Rangers, it's strange because if you Google them, it looks like they're in your city, but they're literally, that will come up for every single municipality in the state of Florida that you Google. So I don't know how readily they are available to actually come over here.
They are available. It's again, they're a state company, they're a state-run company. So depending on the service that's needed, they'll come out and remove the ducks. So like you mentioned, they're an invasive species, which makes it an issue in trying to relocate them. The animal control companies, it is completely legal to hire them and have the ducks removed. They're totally within the legal premise to be able to use their services.
Through the chair. Thank you, Richard, for coming again.
You're absolutely correct. The quote that the city did receive is $50 per duck. Robert Enrada researched this a couple of months ago to figure out how much it's going to be. The city has right now, as far as the invasive Muscovy ducks, it has well over 2,000 ducks inside the city. The problem really lies in the feeding of the ducks. Down my block, I had one of my problem neighbors that was feeding the ducks, and I finally convinced them with the threat of the ordinance that would fine them. The easiest thing to really do is isolate these people that are feeding them, and so we can send them a warning. We'll send them a warning the first time, because unless you actually physically catch them feeding them, you can't cite them with a warning. To cure the problem, people have to stop feeding them. If you stop feeding them, the problem goes away, because the problem really is isolated to the city of Sweetwater and not necessarily east of 107th Avenue, because west of 107th Avenue is just as bad. And people keep feeding them, because down my block there was one, she stopped feeding them. On the opposite side of my block, there's still two ladies that feed them there, and they won't stop feeding them. I guess until somebody physically catches them feeding them and they get a fine, they won't do it. Hiring a company is an option, but it would probably cost the city in excess of $100,000. That's something that could be discussed during budget if we wanted to divert some of the monies over there. But as a Band-Aid, we actually physically started removing the ducks from the city. I think the city has removed in excess of 200 ducks from the city and eggs. This has been a joint effort between the police department and Public Works. It was stalled 3 weeks ago when we started the tree program, because we had to install 200 trees and get them installed in the ground. So we stalled it for a little bit, but we're going to start again next week. It's a sure program. It's going to get out of them, but it's going to take just as long as this plague started. It's going to take just as long to be able to get rid of them as well.
Mayor Lopez, on the second page of my letter, I provided the two addresses to the neighbors that feed them. You were mentioning how you approached one of the neighbors and basically told them if they could stop feeding the ducks. Could those two addresses of those neighbors that I listed, could they be approached and a warning or a fine possibly be given for them feeding the ducks, in order to avert the feeding, which leads to further breeding?
Let me ask the attorney, would his email, if I forward his email to code enforcement, is that a vehicle enough, or?
That may not be enough, Mr. Mayor. Perhaps sending correspondence to neighbors abutting the canal, that more than likely, those in the general area, sending some kind of notice through.
Yeah, but this is not along the canal. This is 4 blocks away from the canal.
It's at Southwest 3rd Street, so you're talking 5 streets over.
Yeah, it's 4 blocks away.
A general notice perhaps may be in order, but as far as a warning or a violation, unless one of our officers have witnessed that, you couldn't issue a violation.
Through the chair. If you guys notice on the picture on the 3rd page, when I went by and I talked with Mr. Quintana and his other neighbors that are present here as well, you'll notice on the first picture that it's a water container that they're using to feed the ducks water. That's also counter to Miami-Dade ordinance for ponding water. That right there, I mean, just picking up these types of basins that'll catch water, that right there can be 50% of the work. So if code enforcement need be, or Public Works or maintenance or whoever needs to swing by and take this out, because this is not in compliance with Miami-Dade County ordinances for standing water, that right there is 50% of the battle.
And I will add, you will see, I didn't have a photo of it because it was removed, but you'll notice how they're being fed there, but these same neighbors that were feeding the ducks also removed one of the city sewer grates to put a tarp under it to prevent the ducklings from falling in. So my concern is when the rains come and there's rainy season and it starts flooding in the neighborhood, that this would cause an issue regarding water rising in our neighborhood, that the fact that they even also tampered with the city sewer is another issue altogether.
Did you see them do it? Do you know who did it?
I'm assuming that's those two neighbors. There's no other explanation for it. They're the only ones that are feeding them near that area, and it basically is that corner right across from where they live. I can certainly say all of the neighbors that are living near that sewer grate, none of us are involved with it. None of us would even think of removing a grate. So
there was a neighbor of mine who saw two young guys that lived across the street from us, lifted and put it in.
It's like a piece of tarp, it's like a felt, so the ducklings are falling.
And at 4 o'clock they get fed.
Through the chair. I do have a picture of the food that you're talking about. I was walking with Marta, I believe it is? Maria, I'm sorry. I was walking with Maria and I saw the head of of lettuce that was there. So I do have pictures of it when I went out there today. Right. So they must have seen me take pictures and stepped out after I left, but I do know that they're actively feeding them.
Right.
Through the chair.
Go ahead, you got first. Go ahead.
Thank you. Sir, again, thank you for coming up here. And thank you to the residents who have come to our meetings. I think I can speak on behalf of every commissioner here. We would love for more residents to get involved in city government, no matter how minuscule the item may seem. Obviously, we're talking about ducks.
Right.
And the reality is, and I'm sure when you first moved in, you were like, it's not a big deal. But after a while, you see that it's more than just a nuisance. As a former policeman here, I can tell you, and we have several policemen in the audience, our major and our 2 officers here that are our acting sergeant arms. We have, when we run lights and sirens, and you've seen us running lights and sirens. Running lights and sirens, responding to emergency calls, is difficult enough as it is. God forbid if a child darts out into the street, every police officer is prepared to throw that vehicle anywhere other than over that child. And those are just the hazards of the job. But what they don't train you for in the police academy is avoiding ducks while you're running a code. And I can tell you that it's a huge hazard when you're trying to get to a crime in progress, whether a robbery or a sexual assault or any of the heinous crimes, when you see ducks and their ducklings in the middle of the road. Right. I can't tell you that we always stop, because protecting life, human life, is more important than the life of a duck. That's just as far as I'm concerned. But we never want to see anything bad happen to these animals. So that's one issue. Obviously, the dead ducks that we have on the road, obviously it's a huge nuisance, not to mention it's a huge health hazard.
Or even if you notice, I'm sorry for interrupting, but on the 4th page, in
I saw
that
it.
particular neighborhood,
I saw it.
they're also attacked by people walking their dogs throughout the neighborhood.
Yeah. So I have a
She
solution.
had to have her gardener removed.
So I have a solution, or a possible solution. As a commission body, I don't think that we can do this, but I think we can respectfully request the mayor and have some sort of collaborative effort where we create a public awareness program with our police officers and City of Sweetwater residents. We just meet, knock on doors. All of us here sitting on this dais have knocked on every single door in this city. I can pretty much guarantee you. There's not a door in the city that has not been knocked on. And we knock on doors to ask for votes. Well, now we can knock on doors collectively as a commission, as a united body, to bring awareness, to talk to our residents, stop feeding the ducks, involve our police officers in a non-aggressive manner, start the conversation, and we can figure out collectively through the administration on how to resolve this issue. Because I can tell you, for years, we've been removing these ducks. We have been relocating these ducks. It gets to a point to where the state says you shouldn't, you should contact pesky critters or something else. Well, I can tell you, there are several police cars that have the remnants of ducks. And at one point or another, I can tell you with my own eyes, I've seen over 1,000 ducks being removed in the last 5 years. And it's just something that needs to be maintained. So that's something that I would respectfully request the administration. Maybe we can do something collectively as a commission. I know I would love to get involved. We throw on sneakers, shorts, and go pick up ducks. Go pick up duck eggs. It is what it is. In Easter, we do Easter egg hugs. Let's just pick up the ducks, remove them, relocate them, figure out what it is we're going to do, but we need to get some of them off the street, or at least control the population. Would you be satisfied with that? At least we're doing something?
I would be satisfied, absolutely. If some collective effort is made and they are removed, absolutely. How they're removed, whether it's an individual effort by individuals that work within the city government, or whether it's through a paid company, what we care about more than anything else is for the ducks to be removed. And secondly, if those neighbors, in a non-aggressive manner, it doesn't necessarily have to be police enforcement, even if some of the commissioners were to go to those neighbors and speak to them, and to implore them to stop feeding the ducks, that would also help alleviate the problem as well.
Well, send us their address, and I definitely want to know.
They're on page 2.
All right, and that grate that you said that's covered?
It's on the corner right where they're being fed.
Is that grate in this packet?
It's not in the packet.
Because can I have that address of the exact grate so we can forward it to Public Works?
Your address?
That one I'm going to have to do a police report to get it done.
246 Southwest, and that's going to be a criminal investigation, by the way. 102 Place.
Right now, through the chair.
No, hold on. Please go first.
You finished?
I yield the floor. Go ahead.
Let me tell my opinion. I am wrong from the side. It's terrible. Not only you are straight, all the streets is terrible. It's very important legal solution, Mr. what illegal pollution for? It's terrible. Maybe leave the other side, mamma mia.
Commissioner Duaso, as some of your colleagues and the mayor have alluded, there are certain obstacles in the removal. There are certain things that can be done, and I think that they have been discussed, and there are plans, or at least potential plans, to deal with that removal. So I think it's at this point it's pending to see what action the city is going to take collectively, along with the neighbors, to deal with that removal. But at this point, a couple of options that have been discussed are being explored.
Okay, go ahead, you also the floor.
Right now, that grate, I spoke to Maria, and she had told me that the carpet had been removed, and instead what they did was the tree line fencing with the small holes. They basically picked up the grate, and that's what they placed under it to capture, like, if any ducklings fall, they just basically stay in there, and then somebody's obviously looking out for it. I don't know who it is, but yeah, they are actively picking that grate up and changing whatever they need to do in there.
So the grate is back in place.
The grate is back in place, but it has an underlying mesh under it.
Right, and it's your address, Maria, is again?
Okay, 46 Southwest and 102nd Place, it's right there in the corner.
And along that same corner is where the two neighbors that are living nearby, that are listed on page 2, right around the corner is where they feed them. They live right in back of Maria and right next to Sophie.
At 4 o'clock in the afternoon, they feed them. At 8 o'clock in the morning, they feed them. I can hear them calling them. They call them and
We do have other neighbors that would like to talk.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We have request to Ms. Marta M. Gonzalez, 245 Southwest, 102 Place, Sweetwater, Florida, to address the City Commission.
Good evening. How's everyone tonight? My name is Sofia Inguanzo Perez. I live on 10214 Southwest 3rd Street. I have been residing in Sweetwater for now almost 39 years. I absolutely love our city. I stayed here, and my husband moved into our home when we got married because I love this city so much. We now have 2 children, 5 and 7, and it saddens me what has happened with the duck infestation. Infestation problem. So I'm just here to piggyback and to support Richard. But more than anything else, my children can't even go outside and play in the front of the street. Maria's kids and Ingrid's mom over here, I've lived next to them, in front of them for my entire life. We played outside, everything you can think of. My kids can't do that now because the ducks try to attack them. The ducks are building nests in my home. They're eating my landscaping that I paid a lot of money for. It's just gotten to a point where it's out of control. So again, I just wanted to thank you for your time and to please make sure that we do something about this. Also, the nests are becoming a problem, and they are attacking my children. So this is a point that something needs to be done immediately. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we have a request of Eneida Sotelo. Oh, you pass it to Richard? Okay. Then Armanda Lopez. You, Maria Lopez?
Yes.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Maria Lopez. I live in 246 Southwest, 102nd Place, Miami, Florida. I've been living there for 40-some years. It is getting to be a little bit too much, especially in the last 3 years, with the dog problem. I'm getting older. My husband is getting older. I cleaned today the front porch because I got a porch and the front porch, and they like to go there. And I cleaned the driveway, and before I know it, I turn around and they're back in there. And it's my neighbor behind me. It's the one he has which I show Mr. Diaz today, green thing about this big. They put water there, they put food there twice a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon at 4 o'clock. The mornings around 8 o'clock, I can hear them because my window is right there. And then he'd be calling the dog, woo, woo. I'm getting tired of that, and I don't know how to approach him. So maybe a letter would show him that this is not the right thing to do. I know he loves animals, I do too, but it's becoming too much of it. It's around 30 to 40 dogs in there every morning and every afternoon being fed. And they go in the top of my roof, which I just finished, repairing it because I had some roof tiles broke, so I have to repair it. I just had my driveway paint. It's coming loose because of the nuisance they have. I mean, they do all kinds of little things there. And the little dogs is under my cars, which you don't like to, but sometimes I just throw water at them and let them eat. But then they come back again because they like the water. So I don't know what to do.
Through the chair.
Okay, thank you very much for it. You think it's
Thank you,
not a
ma'am.
big thing, but
No, it is,
coming
it is,
to-
it is.
ignoring.
Go ahead.
This is no longer a health hazard. This is now, from a law enforcement standpoint, and Major, you can correct me if I'm wrong, whenever animals attack, there are laws in place for us to immediately remove. We have it for alligators, we have it for dogs, we have it for geese, we have it for peacocks in Miami-Dade County.
You have-
So I will tell you now that has been set for the record that they are attacking your children. I can tell you that we will take immediate action. I commend Commissioner Diaz for going out there. As the only commissioner who went out there, sir, I commend you for that. I think that we need to, as small and as minuscule as this is, I think this will be a great testament to this commission, to this dais. Let's unite. Let's get a hold and control of this situation. As small as this issue may seem, I think it would be a great exercise in city government to show our residents that we can be united, we can have a difference of opinion, but we can stand behind something and initiate a project, move it forward, and execute it for the well-being of our residents. So thank you so much for coming. I challenge my colleagues to unite and resolve this issue, force the issue upon the mayor. I know you have a lot of things to discuss, sir, but if you can designate or delegate that to one person, that we can all tackle it together. Leave your information with the city clerk's office, please. That way we can contact you individually or collectively. And your cries aren't going to go unheard. You obviously came here, you wasted your time coming here to address this issue, and we're going to try and resolve it for you. So thank you.
I think you were in my house, but Barreto was in my house. Diaz was in
I'm sure everybody here was in your house.
So it is, I'm 70-some years old, and I have a hard time cleaning up. And my husband's 78. If we get my legs, and I'm diabetic, like some other around here, you know that well, if they hurt my legs, I'm in trouble.
If you slip and fall and break a hip, that's we don't want that.
Even if they attack me.
Yeah.
May I, Maria? All the commissioners around from that side. And on the side, Cecilia lives in here, Dia lives in here, Prica Barreto lives in here.
I know them.
All the commissioners, I don't know what is problem. Darling.
Yeah, but I gotta do something. And I want to talk to my neighbor. But
No, it's not necessary. You represent your neighbor. It's right, or the commissioner, you're right. It's terrible on the other side. Sometimes, una pata, 15. Every day. Is that?
Okay, we have a request of Sophia in Wanso.
I already spoke.
She's
Oh, you already did? Yes. And how about Jorge Perez?
That's my husband.
That's your
He's
husband?
With the kids.
Okay.
Somebody has to watch them.
Okay, so number 10 is consent agenda.
I'm sorry, I do believe I have two representatives here for Commissioner Pepe Diaz, if you guys want to come up and speak, Luis Rodriguez and Alex Dominguez.
Good evening, my name is Luis Rodriguez, 10720 Southwest 16th Street. I work for the Jose Felix Diaz campaign, and well, we were just here on his behalf to announce the Condominium Reform Act that was passed about a month and a half ago. The governor signed it into law at the end of June, and what it deals with is it's putting power back into the hands of condominium owners and members of HOAs rather than the board. It has a bunch of provisions, and all the additional provisions have been passed. Just a quick summary of some important stuff. It sets term limits on board members and HOAs. It does not allow the HOA's board to hire an attorney for their property management company, and so it further prevents conflict of interest. We had a tough primary, but we won by an unexpected margin of about 31%. And we're going into the general election on September 26th, so God willing, we'll win. And thank you very much for your time. Are there any questions or concerns?
Do you know how it will directly affect? I mean, I know Sweetwater's been plagued for a couple of years now by HOAs and ongoing battles of.
Well, it's going to limit the power of the HOA and putting it back into the hands of the individual owners of the units or the condominiums. So that.
Thank you for that.
Be good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the chair. Sir? Yeah. Over here. Thanks. Thank you so much for that. The legislation that you're referring to as far as HOAs, the state legislature passed 5 bills pertaining to HOA. The gentleman that you're representing on your shirt was instrumental with that, so for that I commend you, and please commend him as well. We actually have some homeowner associations here in the city of Sweetwater that have issues pertaining to homeowner associations. There is a criminal investigation that I'll be presenting to our chief police and our major. Sorry for the bad news. I'm not a cop anymore, but I have a criminal investigation to turn into your office, where we have a potential fraud that's occurring at a homeowner association in the city of Sweetwater. So Commissioner Diaz, thank you so much for presenting him. And I think we need a lot of awareness when it comes to homeowner associations. I know Commissioner Duaso has been involved in homeowner association probably for the last 30 years in your homeowner association. And I can only imagine how many issues you've had in your homeowner association, but we have, that I can think of, we have about 14 homeowner associations in the city of Sweetwater. So, and out of 14, maybe 9 of them have issues. So that's definitely something in a resolution that I'm preparing now. It's just very difficult to do, where having the city of Sweetwater creating an ordinance to give the residents a little more teeth, a little more bite, per the state statute that was created. What I call good intention, but it needs a little more bite. And I think as a commission, we can bring a little more teeth to those laws. Obviously, fines and city ordinances. So thank you for coming, sir.
Thank you.
Señor Villanueva.
Sir.
For many years, president of the association.
I remember.
And my association has $96,000. It's very clear every time. A nice association. $96,000. I'm president in this moment. And different time, president. First night, my association. Or not, later I have problem on camera. Thank you.
Sure. Hi, how are you? There's an actual office that will be opening in the city of Doral that will be able to allow people to come in and make a report on that, and they'll go ahead and help them out regarding that stuff. It'll be at the end of August. We still don't know the actual location or more information on that, and then we'll bring it back next time if you want. Lo voy a decir en español. Que va a haber una oficina en la ciudad de Doral que va a abrir federalmente para que ustedes puedan ir a hablar con problemas de asociación para que ellos lo puedan ayudar. Va a ser al finales de agosto. Dije que es en la ciudad de Doral. Todavía no tenemos la información del local exacto, pero me dijeron que al finales de agosto que la van a abrir. ¿Okay?
Gracias. Thank you. Okay, now we're going to go to a staff item. Before we go to item C, I want to mention that here we have the daughter of Antonio Ledesma from Venezuela. Who's here. And also we have Daniela Capriles. She's here too.
Para que la saque la cámara, please. Pónganse adelante con la bandera ustedes aquí adelante, por favor. ¿Aquí delante? Sí, por favor.
No, dice para que saquen
en la cámara
de nosotros.
En la cámara de nosotros, amor, no, aquí en el centro, para que salga la cámara nuestra. Mírala ahí. Y eso sale en muchos lugares de nuestras ciudades. Como yo también.
hablar con él. Sí. Por favor, to the chair. Yo voy a decir algo muy rapidito en español, si me pueden prestar la atención por un segundito. Sí, primero que todo, muchas gracias, se lo voy a decir en español. Muchas gracias a todos los que vinieron, todos los líderes venezolanos de nuestra comunidad. Tenemos el privilegio de tener líderes, personas que han sufrido por el régimen de Nicolás Maduro aquí representados. Y yo primero que todo quiero reconocer a Lorenzo Di Stefano, que un aplauso por favor, quien es un activista política y comunitario, defensor de los derechos humanos, miembro de Venezuela Tricolor y Comité de Rescate de la Democracia. Y también, si no han probado las bellas arepas del Arepazo 2, que vayan por allá, que son lo mejor en toda la ciudad.
Si ustedes nos permiten, queremos retratarnos con ustedes todos.
Sí, claro.
¿Va a hacerlo ahora?
Sí, un segundito. También acá tenemos a Rafael Moros. Un aplauso para Rafael, quien es el representante de Venezuela, también del mismo Comité de Rescate de la Democracia y ex juez en Venezuela. Y también a Ellen Villalonga, presidenta de Amavex, que es una asociación de madres venezolanas en el exilio. Gracias. Gracias a todos por venir. Nosotros queríamos que ustedes vinieran y que todo el pueblo de la ciudad de Sweetwater, de la ciudad de Doral, que por todo Miami, que sepan que la ciudad de Sweetwater, no solamente el liderazgo, sino que los residentes, que nosotros estamos con ustedes, así como dice el dicho que todos nosotros somos Venezuela.
Gracias.
Y nosotros no queremos tomar tanto tiempo en discutir sobre todos los términos de la resolución, sino que primero quiero tomar una foto con ustedes y a la vez le voy a dar un tiempito para que Ellen y también Lorenzo y Rafael nos hablen de el estatus, en dónde está la situación grave en Venezuela, y también para lo mejor pueden leer esta resolución en español.
Yo
¿Sí?
quiero decirle una cosita nada más. Esos cubanos que están allá no son cubanos, son de Fidel, que los tienen ustedes allá. Así que el día que haya que quemar una bandera, quémela del 26 de julio, la del 26 de julio, porque esa cubana es nuestra.
Lo único que la explicación de eso es que nosotros tenemos en nuestras instituciones públicas mucha bandera cubana. Y eso pues creó cierto... Pero finalmente los muchachos salieron con un comunicado.
Nos permiten
Y Dani, si nos paramos aquí atrás mejor.
Madam President, I second it. Why don't we just take a unanimous vote real quick and let's get this done? Second.
Madam President, you haven't read the resolution. You haven't read the resolution. You have to read the resolution.
I have to read the resolution. Hold on, that's what I'm saying. Let me just finish this and then we move on.
Wait. Idania, please.
Helen lo va a leer en español, la resolución.
Siempre.
Helen.
Muchas gracias por venir. Muchas gracias por venir.
Ella va a leer en inglés y después.
Un segundito para es para
Lorenzo. Tienen un gran valor.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
Es una danza venezolana que son de nosotros, que son bonitas. Es terrible.
¿Qué le pasa a Jaycee?
¿Tú sabes quién es el esposo?
Jaycee Álvarez.
Muchas gracias por venir.
Okay, so we're going to go with
Item C.
And then I'm pretty sure they're going to say something in Spanish. That's what I heard.
Lorenzo Di Stefano después que nosotros lo leemos, lo va a leer en español, y luego Ellen y Rafael van a dar un estatus de la situación.
Okay. We're going to go with item C. A resolution of the mayor and the city commission of the city of Sweetwater, Florida, condemning Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and the Venezuelan government for violation of the human rights and attacks to the democracy in Venezuela, and urging the United States government to impose sanctions on the Venezuelan government and its officials, providing for transmittal, Commissioner Barrero.
Move.
They're going to say in Spanish now.
Do we have a motion by Commissioner Diaz and second by Commissioner Barrera?
Through the chair, may we allow Lorenzo to read the resolution in Spanish so that the community is informed?
Okay, I'm Lorenzo Di Stefano. My address is 4445 Northwest 93 Doral Court, Doral, Florida 33178. Una resolución del alcalde y la comisión de la ciudad de Sweetwater, Florida, condenando al presidente venezolano Nicolás Maduro y el gobierno venezolano para violaciones de derechos humanos y ataque a la democracia en Venezuela, e instando al gobierno de los Estados Unidos a que imponga sanciones al gobierno venezolano y a sus funcionarios. Disponibilidad de transmisión. Por cuanto, el 12 de febrero de 2014, también conocido en Venezuela como el Día Nacional de la Juventud, los estudiantes comenzaron a protestar en varias ciudades contra la incapacidad del líder venezolano Nicolás Maduro para reducir la alta tasa de crímenes violentos, sus acciones antidemocráticas y una economía en rápido deterioro. Y, por cuanto que comienza el 12 de febrero de 2014, el gobierno venezolano inició una ofensiva contra la libertad de expresión en arrestar a líderes de la oposición para la incitación, conspiración, incendio provocado y la intención de los daños, y tratar de silenciar la disidencia en el país a través de la intimidación, detenciones y violencia. Y por cuanto esas grandes protestas contra el gobierno comenzaron pacíficamente y terminaron en una colisión violenta entre los manifestantes y la policía, soldados y partidarios del gobierno. Y por cuanto el gobierno venezolano acusó injustamente, condenó a prisión y más tarde arresto domiciliario y detención Leopoldo López, el líder identificado del movimiento de oposición del gobierno por incitar a las protestas violentas. Y por cuanto desde abril de 2017 al menos 100 venezolanos han muerto como resultado de incidentes que rodearon estas protestas. Muchas de estas muertes causadas directamente por las autoridades venezolanas y las fuerzas de seguridad. Y por cuanto este gobierno de Maduro se ha vuelto extremadamente autoritario, bloqueando a los reporteros de cubrir esos eventos y ordenando a las pandillas alineadas por el gobierno a aplastar el equipo de los periodistas. Y por cuanto el 16 de julio de 2017, más de 7 millones de venezolanos en los Estados Unidos y más de 75 países, entre ellos Chile, Panamá y España, con más de 98% de los votos, votó en contra de los planes del presidente Nicolás Maduro de reinscribir la constitución del país y consolidar su poder. Y por cuanto que este voto simbólico representa la verdadera voluntad del pueblo venezolano para restaurar la democracia y poner fin a la opresión causada por el presidente Nicolás Maduro y el gobierno venezolano. Y por cuanto el alcalde y la comisión de la ciudad creen que estas tragedias en Venezuela, que representan una larga cadena de violaciones de derechos humanos por parte del gobierno venezolano, deben ser condenadas y llevadas a la atención del público. Y por cuanto que el alcalde y la comisión de la ciudad de Sweetwater solo pueden presentar posiciones oficialmente sancionadas de la ciudad al Comité de Asuntos Internacionales de la Conferencia de Alcaldes de los Estados Unidos para su consideración y apoyo. Por lo tanto, se resuelve por el alcalde y la comisión de la ciudad de Sweetwater, Florida, según sigue. Sección 1. Consideraciones. Las declaraciones procedentes se confirman, adoptan e incorporan en el presente documento y forman parte de esta memoria con esta referencia. Sección 2. Posición recomendada. La comisión y el alcalde de la ciudad de Sweetwater, Florida, por lo presente condenan las muertes trágicas de los ciudadanos venezolanos causados por las autoridades de Venezuela y protestas recientes en torno. Condenan la sentencia injusta y arresto domiciliario y detención de Leopoldo López. Condenan el intento del presidente Nicolás Maduro para volver a escribir la constitución del país y consolidar su poder en el gobierno venezolano. El alcalde y la comisión de la ciudad llaman al presidente Trump y a su administración para hacer cumplir la ley de defensa de los derechos humanos y la sociedad civil de Venezuela y mantener las más estrictas sanciones al gobierno y funcionarios venezolanos en respuesta a estos actos. Sección 3. Transmisión. Se ordena al secretario de la ciudad que transmita esta resolución al presidente de los Estados Unidos, al secretario de Estado de los Estados Unidos, al liderazgo del Congreso de los Estados Unidos, a los miembros de la delegación del Congreso de la Florida la misión a la Organización de Estados Americanos y la Conferencia de Alcaldes de los Estados Unidos. Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Lorenzo.
Si hay algún comisionado que desea hacer un anexo a esa resolución, yo lo dejo. ¿Alguien tiene algún anexo a esa resolución? ¿Nadie? No. A esa resolución ponerle un anexo. La protección de los venezolanos aquí en Miami, dirigida al presidente, un anexo a esa resolución. La necesita.
Lo aplaudo y en nombre de todos nosotros queremos agradecer.
Tenemos que hacer un anexo, presidenta.
No, hold on. City Attorney, this is something that's going to be added to the, to the resolution. Therefore, one is going to be.
At this point, you have a motion. You have a motion and a second. Okay. If there is a wish to go ahead and add an amendment to the resolution, I believe that's the motion that Commissioner Duaz was making. I don't know if there's a second or if it's supported by the sponsor. That could be done with a motion and a second.
Through the chair, I believe we did have a motion and a second to approve as
it was. If there is an amendment that amendment is approved by the sponsor, then as a motion and a second would approve it.
Commissioner Duaso would like to add an amendment to include the encouragement of protections for Venezuelans in South Florida.
The extension of a temporary protective status to Venezuelans in the U.S.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Barrero, second by Commissioner Diaz, as amended.
You may vote and it will be as amended since it's got the support of the sponsor.
Okay.
Before you vote, something.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Good evening, Mayor, Commission President, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. Good evening. Just to recall a little bit back, I'm sorry. My name is Jose Diaz. I reside at 621 Southwest 104th Avenue, Sweetwater, Florida 33174. A while ago, when I was sitting on the chair of the mayor, Carmen Jimenez, who presides the USA Refugees and Immigrants, we elaborate a resolution that we sent to Washington back then, asking the president and the Congress to pass a legislation to approve the, what we call it, the TPS, the temporary protection status for those Venezuelans that are being persecuted by the Chavistas and the Maduristas regime. So I think, and I'm sorry that I wanted to add this, if you would consider the commission and the mayor to add, not only to sanction them, but to facilitate political asylum to those Venezuelans that are being persecuted by the regime, because if they don't come here, they are going to go after them and kill them or arrest them, and who knows what else they are going to do with them. So if you can add that they can provide as well political protection until Venezuela, God willing, can get a government that really respects human rights and democracy the way it used to be in the past. I just would like you to consider that.
Go ahead, sir, and then I have to tell you
Mayor, él fue alcalde, por eso le digo, Mayor, no pierde.
No, just Commissioner, or
No,
Jose.
Bien. My position is, incluye en the resolution. In the resolution.
You can add it. You can add it to the resolution before. You can amend it before you vote, and send it to Washington, because we Cubans have also that kind of a status to be protected and being able to have asylum in the United States because of the communist regime that we have in Cuba. And you are going in Venezuela through the same system and the same techniques and the same deviation from human rights and democracy. So,
Alcalde, please, this is nice resolution, beautiful resolution.
It is indeed. And I
incluye
Hold on, sir.
Bueno, but you have to do that, not me.
No, me, I know, pero incluye el resolution.
This is your resolution.
Okay.
You already accepted the amendment. You have to do another amendment if you're going to be adding that,
Madam
right?
President, I believe that if I may, the motion to add that amendment has been stated.
Stated, exactly.
And subsequent to that, there's been a motion and a second as amended, and right now all that is needed would be
The language?
a vote. No, the language was read. It's basically to go ahead and extend, urging the federal government to extend temporary protective status to those Venezuelans here in the U.S.
So actually, you're going to put a move.
So right now you have a motion and a
before we
second.
vote and accept the resolution, we have a lot of Venezuelans. First of all, can I ask you to stand up, any Venezuelan who's here, on behalf of our Venezuelan community? Just want to give you a round of applause. A todos los venezolanos que han venido para demostrar el apoyo. Segundo, vamos a pasar la resolución.
Exactly.
Si ustedes votan, incluidos con estos anexos.
Con este amendment.
Sí, señor.
Que hay que pasarlo.
Sí, comisionado. Tenemos acá. Sí, Ellen, antes que pase la resolución, quiero que nos diga un estatus, cómo está la situación en Venezuela, ¿ok? Y una persona más, quien quiera hablar, me acabo de dar cuenta de que la hija ¿de quién? Del alcalde Ledesma, acá, les quiero dar ese privilegio, ¿ok? Si quieren por un momentico hablar también un minuto. Pero primero vamos a hacer esto con orden.
Estamos getting out of order.
Ellen, por favor.
Muy buenas noches. Mi nombre es Helen Villalonga, represento a la Asociación de Madres y Mujeres Venezolanas en el Exterior. Es una asociación fundada en la Florida desde hace 10 años. Desde el año 2015, nuestra asociación, de la mano del congresista Carlos Curbelo, ha estado impulsando una ley. La ley que en aquel entonces era la HR 3744 de asistencia para refugiados venezolanos. Actualmente, desde el 26 de abril de este año, esa ley llegó por segunda vez en el Congreso 115. Por eso pedí una salvedad antes de pasar la resolución. Nosotros agradecemos profundamente toda la disposición que tienen todos los gobiernos de los Estados Unidos en pasar una protección para los venezolanos. Nos gustaría especialmente que antes de pasar una protección temporal de estatus, revisaran cuáles son las opciones que tenemos los venezolanos para que esta resolución pase. Y si va a pasarse dentro de la resolución la protección que sea más amplia, solicitamos respetuosamente las madres, las mujeres, los venezolanos, que tomen en cuenta que existe esta ley ya dentro del Congreso y que nosotros como venezolanos en este momento, más que algo temporal, necesitamos algo permanente, algo que realmente abriga a nuestra comunidad venezolana, que le dé esa oportunidad de obtener una residencia permanente dentro de los Estados Unidos. La situación en Venezuela es crítica, no es desconocido para nadie, todo lo contrario. Lamentablemente cada día los venezolanos estamos sumidos bajo una, como lo decimos nosotras, una ingeniería castrocomunista que está sesgando todo lo que son los derechos humanos de nuestros hermanos venezolanos. Muchos de ellos han buscado salir de nuestro país para un puerto seguro. La mayoría, por no decir todos, se han venido para acá, para Estados Unidos. Y aquí está el gran exilio cubano, donde también nosotros hemos sido recibidos y les agradecemos profundamente y sabemos que entienden cuando le hablamos de una ley y no de un estatus temporal. Un estatus temporal lo tenemos actualmente. Los venezolanos que han arribado desde el 2014 a la fecha han aplicado a un asilo político en la gran mayoría, porque la base del asilo político es un miedo creíble. En Venezuela existe una dictadura, no una dictadura que ha nacido con Maduro, es una dictadura que llegó en el mismo momento que llegó el extinto Hugo Rafael Chávez Fría, quien también violó los derechos humanos en Venezuela. Le transfirió ese poder a quien hoy asesina a nuestros hijos, a nuestros esposos, a nuestros familiares, a nuestras hermanas y madres. Para nosotros es importantísimo que se entienda que lo que necesitamos en este momento es legalizar a los venezolanos en los Estados Unidos. Un TPS es una protección temporal y agradecemos profundamente, se lo dice alguien que es la madre del primer venezolano deportado y regresado legalmente a los Estados Unidos. Mi hijo fue deportado en el año 2009. Tuve que permanecer separada de mi hijo durante 2 años, hasta que finalmente logré que existía un error administrativo. Hoy, no solamente mi hijo goza del beneficio de ser el primer venezolano deportado y regresado legalmente, sino que a través de mi asociación hemos logrado reunificar 3 familias más en un total de 4. Les puedo decir especialmente lo que se sufre y lo que se siente cuando uno tiene un familiar en Venezuela deportado, cuando uno no sabe qué va a pasar al otro día, cuando uno no tiene ni siquiera la esperanza de saber que ese hijo que te maltrataron y te golpearon en la cabeza se despertaba. Eso es lo que pasa ahorita en Venezuela. Yo les pido de corazón, en esta resolución le agradezco a todos los comisionados que tuvieron hoy la disposición y la buena voluntad de darle esa protección a los venezolanos, de revisar esta ley, HR 2161, se encuentra dentro del Congreso de los Estados Unidos. Logramos en el año 2016 65.900 firmas para pasarla dentro de la Casa Blanca. Desafortunadamente no logramos las 100.000, pero yo les pido con el corazón, como solamente una madre ha sufrido el embaste de lo que ha sido la violencia en Venezuela, que piensen en esta ley, que piensen en la comunidad venezolana, y desde ese hogar venezolano, que es mi hogar, que es el hogar de todos los venezolanos que hoy estamos aquí, les damos la gracia, porque llegó un momento en que nos sentimos muy solos, sentimos que no teníamos a nadie. Estas madres, estas mujeres que me acompañan el día de hoy, nos fuimos el 24 de julio al frente de la ONU a solicitar la intervención, no de un paño tibio, la intervención militar dentro de nuestro país para corregir lo que está ocurriendo, porque lamentablemente Venezuela está bajo las manos de criminales, no de políticos, de asesinos, no de gente diplomática ni de carrera. Estamos en las manos de un régimen narcotraficante, violador de los derechos humanos, un dictador, como lo dijo el presidente Trump. Las sanciones que están colocando son sanciones que aplican perfectamente a todos estos violadores de derechos humanos, y pedimos más, pedimos mucho más, sanciones que sean más correctivas, que vayan en función de sacar a toda esta cuerda de criminales del gobierno de mi país, porque eso no es un gobierno, eso es un régimen castrocomunista. Eso fue lo que se instaló en Venezuela, eso es lo que lamentablemente tienen nuestros hogares: miseria, destrucción, muerte. Eso es lo que gobierna hoy en Venezuela. Alcalde, le agradezco con todo mi corazón la oportunidad de poder hablar en nombre de la familia venezolana. He pasado todas las vicisitudes que usted se puede imaginar. Fue una de las primeras que entregó un muerto. Mi hermano fue asesinado en la ciudad donde yo vivo. Mi hijo fue deportado. Así que cuando le pido de corazón que revisen esa ley, métale el ojo. Le va a dar la oportunidad que tuvo una vez el mismo pueblo, el glorioso exilio cubano. Muchas gracias. Buenas noches.
Por favor, con el mismo sentimiento, él no siendo cubano, no siendo venezolano, pero tiene el sentimiento y el corazón con ustedes, ha hecho una resolución para pasarla con ese mismo sentimiento y ese mismo corazón que usted está pidiendo. Él tiene capacidad para poder añadir a esta resolución
la ley HR 2161.
Que va el presidente también y va.
Refugee Assistance Venezuelan Act.
City Attorney, so moved.
Second.
Hold on, because we have so many amendments, so clear that out, because...
I believe you have one more speaker. I don't know if you want to
Exactly,
take...
yes, let's go with one more speaker.
One more.
Okay, thank you again. No podemos sino dar gracias y gracias y sentirnos movidos en el corazón por este apoyo, porque ¿qué sería de las personas si no contamos con nuestros amigos en momentos de problemas, cuando estamos afligidos de problemas? Y los venezolanos no nos estamos yendo de Venezuela porque no nos queremos ir del país más bello y más rico del mundo, porque eso que sí tiene Venezuela, bellezas naturales y riqueza en nuestro suelo. Entonces, ¿cómo nos vamos a querer ir de ese país? Solamente que la doctora se expresó increíblemente, nos robaron el país, nos secuestraron el país y estamos a la merced de los forajidos, de los terribles, que no les da pena asesinar a mansalva. Antes se asesinaba por debajo de la mesa, si me entienden. Antes tú cubrías con una manta para matar a alguien. Hoy en día no lo hacen. Hoy en día es simplemente tiros y entonces los criminales, los que supuestamente estaban aquí para defenderte, son los que te están asesinando. Hablo en nombre de los 620 presos políticos que hay en Venezuela hoy. Eso solo ocurre en dictadura. Ya no nos debe temblar la voz para llamar a Maduro un dictador. los asesinados, es insólito cómo estamos los jóvenes y la masa de gente en Venezuela saliendo a las calles a protestar para que no cierren más emisoras de televisión, para que no cierren más periódicos, para que no cierren más estaciones de radio, para que nos dejen ir a comprar comida sin tener que mostrar un número, un carnet de la patria. Buscando en los basureros para que haya en nuestras farmacias medicinas y no gasten el dinero de los venezolanos comprando armas a Rusia o financiando el terrorismo en todas partes del mundo, porque este señor es el eje del mal. Maduro, Chávez ya lo hacía. ¿Con quién se daba la mano y con quién salía Chávez? Con los grandes dictadores y los grandes genocidas del mundo. Entonces no se engañen, lo que está pasando en Venezuela es tan grave que pudiese, y no estoy exagerando, convertirse en una nueva Siria, porque así empezaron en Siria, luchando contra un gobierno que estaba alejándose de la democracia, y esta gente ya lo tiene haciendo mucho tiempo. Entonces, una vez más, gracias. Los 600, vuelvo y quiero decir que hablo en nombre de Leopoldo López, de Antonio Ledesma, de Daniel Ceballos, de los otros 617, quisiera decir el nombre de todos y cada uno es una vida. Hay gente presa por un tuit en contra del gobierno, por tuitear. Imagínense, eso es posible solo en dictadura. Entonces, se han violado todos los derechos humanos. A mi papá se lo llevaron de su oficina, alcalde en ejercicio. Él fue electo y reelecto por el pueblo, y como era oposición, al día siguiente Chávez estaba vivo y al día siguiente nombró otra persona, una alcaldesa, no recuerdo el nombre, una alcaldía paralela, para quitarle el 90% de la competencia. Imagínese, alcalde, que usted ganó por los votos, y llega mañana el presidente del país suyo y dice, como es de la oposición, yo le pongo, esta es la alcaldesa, y le quita el 90% de los recursos y de las competencias. Con ese 10% Antonio Ledesma se manejó gallardamente, tan así que fue reelecto alcalde mayor, alcalde de los 5 municipios que conforman Caracas. Así todo se manejó con una gallardía y una prudencia que lo hicieron ser reelecto. Y hace 2 años y medio entraron a sus oficinas 100 funcionarios del SEBIN, lo que llamamos nosotros la policía política, con armas largas, como si fueran a buscar a un integrante de Al Qaeda. Lo llevaron a la cárcel militar de Ramo Verde, donde estuvo 4 meses. Luego tuvo una complicación, una hernia, una complicación médica, y después de 10 días en la clínica tiene 2 años en house arrest. Entonces, es la violación flagrante a la voluntad del pueblo. Cuando la voluntad del pueblo no les conviene, nombran una alcaldía paralela, nombran esta asamblea fraudulenta nacional constituyente, o como la quieran llamar, para violentar la voluntad del pueblo. Ya estos son asesinos terroristas al poder. Es un terrorismo de Estado lo que hay en Venezuela.
Ahora comienza a fusilar.
Otra vez más.
Ahora va a comer a fusilar.
Ya lo han empezado. Ya empezaron a fusilarnos en las calles. Ya empezaron a fusilarnos. Gracias.
City Attorney. Sí. Aquí también está Rafael Moro para hablar y decirnos a nosotros también, la última persona para hablar, un estatus de la situación.
Sí, buenas noches, alcalde, comisionados, oficiales de esta ciudad, el público que está presente, amigos y compañeros venezolanos de los diversos movimientos que hacemos vida política para restaurar la democracia en Venezuela. En la situación, hace rato la preguntaba, últimamente, ¿qué ha ocurrido en Venezuela? En Venezuela, uno en la noche se acuesta con una noticia y al otro día se levanta con la otra, aún con lagañas en los ojos de estar viendo la de la noche anterior. Tal es el caso de lo que ocurrió después de las elecciones fraudulentas, donde se convocó a la instalación de una asamblea constituyente. Una asamblea que originariamente está viciada de nulidad porque no sigue las pautas legislativas y legítimas que promociona la Constitución Nacional de 1999. Bueno, al día siguiente, después de tener una casa por cárcel, Antonio Ledesma, el alcalde mayor de Caracas, y Leopoldo López, dirigente de Voluntad Popular y líder nacional, estaban en casa por cárcel y arbitrariamente y sin ninguna explicación les fue violentado ese derecho que le habían dado hasta ese momento y fueron llevados nuevamente a Ramo Verde, a la prisión militar de Ramo Verde. y prisión militar, fíjense cómo les violan los derechos civiles, no son juzgados por jueces naturales, sino jueces militares, y les violentan el derecho ese. Yo vengo de un pueblo que es frontera con Colombia, mi pueblo se llama Capacho, apenas somos 23.000 habitantes en ese pueblo. Yo vivía en un sector que se llamaba Agua Blanca, Whitewater, y ahora vivo en un sector que se llama Sweetwater, agua dulce. Es decir, que vengo viviendo entre dos aguas, entre la blanca y la dulce. Como les dije al principio, mi nombre es Rafael Moro, mi dirección es 3488 Southwest 112 Avenida 33165 del Cisco.
¿Le puedo hacer una pregunta? ¿Cuántos venezolanos diariamente están pasando para quedarse en Colombia?
Por mi pueblo, últimamente han pasado más de 70.000 venezolanos hacia la frontera con Colombia.
A pasar trabajo y necesidad ya.
Esto comenzó a ocurrir previamente, pero más de 56.000 pasaron entre el día 28, 29 y 30 de julio, 1 y 2 de agosto. Y ha sido un río de mujeres con niños en los brazos, ancianos llevados por sus hijos caminando, porque no hay comunicación tampoco de automóviles entre las dos fronteras, y es necesario caminar un montón de millas para poder pasar la frontera, que tiene unas barricadas que nunca se habían visto. Yo que soy de ese pueblo, nosotros íbamos y cruzábamos la frontera y veníamos los fines de semana para ir a hacer mercado en Colombia, y muchas de Colombia en Venezuela. Pero, por supuesto, como dijo alguien aquí, yo soy gocho, soy del Táchira. Lo que quería refrescarles también es que estas noticias que día a día se mezclan con tan terrible velocidad, que empecé por decirles las del 30 de julio, pero este último domingo nos acostamos el sábado con una instalación de una asamblea constituyente paralela a la Asamblea Nacional, que es la legítima, en un salón elíptico, es decir, como que instalamos otra, la Asamblea Nacional está aquí constituida, y en el otro salón de al lado se instaló la otra asamblea constituyente, fraudulenta.
Una pregunta: ¿a cuántos edificios, y si lo hacen los soldados, le tiran a los edificios?
En todos los pueblos y ciudades donde hay un edificio y casas, no solamente les tiran, sino que ahora rompen los portones, rompen las puertas, se meten a las casas, roban, porque si no lo saben, hay una ministra que es de las prisiones en Venezuela que se llama Iris Varela, y ella ha sacado a los criminales de las cárceles para vestirlos de guardias nacionales. Bolivia ha enviado mercenarios para ponerlos al lado de los cubanos, de los mercenarios cubanos que ha enviado Raúl Castro y Ramiro Valdés. Controlan al país desde la isla de La Orchila, y también a través de un cable submarino que tendió Chávez entre Venezuela y Colombia. Y Cuba, perdón. Y entonces en ese ir y venir de cosas, nos encontramos el domingo en la madrugada con el alzamiento militar de unos soldados valientes, algunos retirados, algunos execrados por la misma fuerza política venezolana, y nos encontramos con ese alzamiento militar que ha llevado a que el Estado diga, bueno, hay una normalidad en el país, cuando en realidad no la hay. Por debajo,
han sacado armas. Muchas.
La táctica de estos movimientos es tomar armamento, porque ustedes lo han visto que en las calles los muchachos y las mujeres mueren a manos del régimen y solamente tienen piedras para defenderse, cuando ellos tienen armamento como Kalashnikov, y le han proveído desde Rusia. Bueno, hoy en día estamos en una tensa calma. El Consejo Nacional Electoral, que también es fraudulento, fue denunciado por la misma compañía que desde aquí de los Estados Unidos tiene su sede, y que era la que le proveía los servicios electrónicos y de data para el padrón electoral y las elecciones en Venezuela, y fue denunciada por esa misma compañía de que era fraudulenta.
Pero se fueron todos
y se fueron todos de Venezuela por temor a la persecución. Sí. Que era fraudulenta. Entonces las elecciones han sido fraudulentas en Venezuela desde hace muchos años, y El esquema que se presenta ahora es que abren un proceso, una convocatoria a elecciones de gobernadores y de alcaldes que están vencidos los mandatos de estos funcionarios y le piden a los partidos políticos que inscriban candidatos. Y dicen que tienen un plazo del 8 al 12, pero al otro día cuando alguien dijo vamos a escribir los candidatos, entonces redujeron el plazo a un día, el día 8 nada más.
Pero dijeron que tienen el derecho a suspenderlo y no van.
Exacto, entonces nadamos entre mucha incertidumbre.
Tengo la suerte
Lo
de
bueno-
ver a ustedes 3 y 4 horas seguidas.
Lo bueno y la suerte que tiene el pueblo venezolano,
Igual que todos los cubanos, pero yo, mi sentimiento.
lo bueno y la suerte que tiene el pueblo venezolano es que hemos encontrado puntos de apoyo en países que anteriormente apoyaron a Hugo Chávez, pero que se dieron cuenta ya de que todo esto es una farsa, una mentira. Y encontramos apoyo en Colombia, encontramos apoyo en Argentina, en muchos países, en Brasil, Perú, Canadá, y 46 países, Estados Unidos, México, todo el mundo está, y nos ha sorprendido la velocidad con que el presidente Donald Trump ha asumido esta situación venezolana y ha escuchado la voz de un contrincante político que tuvo como Marco Rubio en representación de nosotros, como Ileana Rosletti, como Díaz Balart. Hay mucho. La causa venezolana ha unido, la causa venezolana milagrosamente ha unido los criterios de republicanos y demócratas, y entonces se puede decir
Y ha unido el pueblo de Sweetwater.
y entonces podemos decir con propiedad, para terminar, que Venezuela, a pesar de que nuestras caras son nuevas aquí, Venezuela son, gracias porque ustedes mismos lo han dicho, Venezuela somos ustedes y nosotros, somos todos. Somos unidos y saldremos de esta dictadura y la reflejaremos en el pueblo cubano.
¡Y va a ser libre! ¡Y va a ser libre!
Gracias, Rafael. Ahora, esta resolución yo lo presenté porque yo pensé que esto es lo mínimo que nosotros, como una ciudad, como un liderazgo, representación de Sweetwater, podemos hacer para ustedes, para demostrar el apoyo y decirle que nosotros, el pueblo de Sweetwater, también somos Venezuela. Así que muchas gracias a todos ustedes.
Y mi Dios me llevó a mi corazón decirles verdaderamente, aparte de la resolución, lo que ustedes necesitan. Es la estabilidad aquí y no tener problema ninguno. Y yo creo que sí.
City Attorney, Mr. City Attorney, how many amendments do we have on the floor?
I think at this point, you have one. You have one amendment. So if I understand the direction that this commission may want to go, I think we may want to withdraw that amendment, and at least I'll take a shot at the new amendment. If
yes, please, to encapsulate all those.
So basically, my understanding is we're withdrawing the previous amendments.
Yes, sir.
And the new amendment would be.
The law.
If you give me 1 second, it will be to incorporate a new section to the resolution, urging the federal government, the president and Congress, urge the passing of H.R. 2161, also known as the Venezuelan Refugee Assistance Act, which provides a status adjustment to permanent resident to qualifying Venezuelan nationals, and derivative adjustment of status as provided to specific family members.
Second. No, everybody second. You know why, maybe?
No, hold on, sir. Let's do it the right way. You ready?
I would like to move. Can I briefly, just for 60 seconds, recognize?
I only want to say something in English because everybody's speaks in Spanish, and I want to say it in English.
Go to the podium, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, my name is Johnny Mendez, and my address is 1A2045 Northwest 68th Avenue, Hialeah, Florida 33015. I want to say it in English because I think we here all bilingual, so we speak English and Spanish, but I want to say it in English. Thank you very much for whatever you guys doing for our country.
I born here but raised in Venezuela. I had the best years of my life in Venezuela, and that's the reason I'm with these guys over here. My passport say U.S., but here in my heart say Venezuela. And as a U.S. citizen, I want to thank you guys for whatever you're doing for us. Thank you so much.
So moved.
Moved by
Commissioner
Barrero and moved by,
Second
by
Commissioner
Duazo. All in favor?
Aye. Item passes as amended.
As amended.
Quiero que sepan que hay un Dios y aquí todo está escrito en los cielos y tengan la completa idea que vamos a tener la felicidad de que ustedes van a ser libres. La bandera.
La bandera. Who are we? What do we want? Freedom! Hoy no comieron.
Repartir celular.
Thank you very much.
Cuidado, esto no se vaya a...
Felicidades y bendiciones. Felicidades y bendiciones.
Oiga, ¿podemos tomar un fotico?
Sí, una foto con ustedes. No se nos vayan.
Vamos a tomar un foto
con la bandera y ahí con nosotros.
Sigue la papá.
Pero abajo, aquí arriba.
Muchas gracias.
Muy bonito.
Thank you very much for everything. Thank you.
Mira, quédese ahí. ¿Y dónde está JC?
La familia.
Follow that.
El comisionado.
Bueno, Venezuela. Venezuela.
¿Quiénes somos?
Venezuela.
¿Qué queremos?
Libertad. Espérate que hay 5 teléfonos. Otra vez atrás.
Yo no creo que nunca hemos puesto una bandera que no sea los Estados Unidos.
¿Quiénes somos?
¡Venezuela!
¿Qué queremos?
¡Libertad!
No, gracias a usted.
Arregla tú, está caliente.
Muchas bendiciones. Marco Villanueva, no. Pegué a un criminal. Tranquilo. Gracias.
Muchas gracias. Vamos a venir.
Buenas noches.
Okay, so let's.
Dentro de la ciudad.
Buenas noches.
Yo represento a Antonio
De nada.
Y sin duda, espectacular.
Correcto.
A ver si podemos lograr lo que...
Por lo menos tiene la parte de nosotros. Gracias, señora.
Tu vaso. No need to move. No, we're going to keep on. Okay, we're going to keep on with the meeting.
There he is.
Muchas bendiciones.
De nada, señor, un placer.
Soy periodista, me dan a la orden de
Muchas gracias.
Y viva Venezuela libre.
¿Sí? Bueno.
A lo mejor esta vez lo puedes hacer.
Okay, we're gonna start the meeting again, please. An ordinance of the Sweetwater Commission on Rezoning that certain property identified on the folio number 25-4006-0061-0943 changed the zoning category from RT duplex residential to RM-15. That's I. That's an I or a one? It's one. 15. Low density multifamily residential, providing for finding of facts, providing for severity, providing for codification, providing for effective date, first reading, and first public hearing. Mayor Lopez.
George, if you could.
That's item 11A.
11A.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioner. My name is Jorge Vera, zoning official for the city of Sweetwater. What's before you is an application from EM Realty Holdings LLC for a property located at 135 Southwest 114th Avenue. The property is approximately around 10,000 square feet. It currently has a duplex on it. Several families are living there right now. The applicant is coming before you requesting for a zone change from the RD duplex zone to the RM15 low density multifamily residential. Now, pursuant to section 9.06.02B of the City of Sweetwater Land Development Regulations, decisions or recommendations relating to any change in zoning districts shall address but not be limited to the effect of the proposed rezoning as it relates to the following. The relationship of the proposed rezoning of the proposed purposes and objectives of the city comprehensive master plan with appropriate consideration as to whether or not the proposed change will further the purpose of the code. This application is in keeping with the City of Sweetwater Comprehensive Master Plan as it seeks to accommodate smart growth and development, while at the same time ensuring availability of quality housing for its residents. With now more than 19,000 residents and still growing, coupled with the fact that there are very few remaining undeveloped lots in the city, new and modern housing options are becoming more and more necessary. This application will allow the provision of small townhouse development to a neighborhood already providing multifamily options and will be in complete alignment with the purpose and goals of the city's master plan. The application will also ensure a higher return to the city in ad valorem taxes by an additional 6 housing units rather than the 2 that are currently there. Moreover, this application will generate significant amount of revenues in the form of the application of the impact fees. Another one of the findings is that the proposed change will or will not be contrary to established land use patterns. The property is located approximately immediately adjacent to RM15 housing to the east and a large multifamily housing development to the north. Thus, the approval of this application will be in keeping with the established land use pattern in the neighborhood. I've given you a a copy of the aerials. It shows you in red the subject property, and you can see to the north you have the multifamily, and everything to the east is multifamily also. The proposed change would or would not create an isolated district unrelated to the adjacent and nearby districts. The property is similar in size to other properties in the immediate area which have received the same zoning designation as the one being requested under this application. As stated above, the property is located immediately adjacent to the RM15 zone property, upon which exists a very large multifamily condominium, and to the north is an existing two-story multifamily building. Consequently, the proposed change will not create an isolated district unrelated to the adjacent nearby districts. The fourth item will be the proposed change would or would not alter the population density pattern and thereby have an adverse impact on the public facilities such as schools, utilities, and nearby streets. Currently, there are several families living on this property. The proposed project, a maximum of 6-unit townhouse project, will only slightly increase the number of residents. The underlying land use designation, moderate multifamily residential, was fully anticipated and supports the RM15 zoning designation. There is also sufficient water and sewer capacity for the proposed project. In light of the above, the proposed rezoning will not alter the population density pattern and will not have an adverse impact upon existing infrastructures. Another one of the standards for the rezoning is the existing district boundaries are illogically drawn in a relationship to the existing conditions on the property. The property is surrounded by larger, denser multifamily projects. Increasing the zoning from RD to RM15 will be in keeping with the surrounding districts and will allow a better use of the property, while providing the neighborhood with a pleasant and aesthetic transition between the high density and low density uses. Number 6, change or changing conditions make the passage of the proposed amendment necessary. In keeping with all South Florida, vacant land in Miami has become scarce to non-existent. The municipalities in the western corridor of Miami, such as Sweetwater, Doral, and Medley, now find themselves to be in high demand as the population continues to move west to live, work, and play. Also, with the continued growth of the biggest of its biggest resident, Florida International University, the availability of quality housing within the city boundaries are at an all-time high. Approving this application will give way to the new townhouse development, will thus serve the city and its residents well. And substantial reasons exist why the property cannot be used in accordance with the existing zoning. As previously discussed, vacant lands are hard to come by, and by the redevelopment, as in all maturing cities, is the way of the future. Because of this, the cost of the land has skyrocketed, making the purchase of existing single-family and duplex properties, as in this case, a very expensive endeavor. Also, as stated above, the property size is not that of a typical duplex lot. The requested zone change will allow the property to be redeveloped in a more productive and efficient manner while meeting the goals of the responsible growth and housing availability. And the last one is whether or not the change will be out of scale and to the needs of the neighborhood. The proposed zoning is completely in scale with the neighborhood and fulfills the needs of the neighborhood by providing a modern quality housing option. A townhouse project on the property is completely in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan and future growth expectations of the city. The property is adjacent to very large condominiums building projects without much of the buffer to the lower density homes. In summary, the proposed townhouse project will offer a much needed transition in an aesthetically pleasing manner. Therefore, staff recommends approval of this zone change.
Through the chair. Madam Chair?
Go ahead.
First and foremost, what is the address to this change?
The address is 135 Southwest 114th Avenue.
Say that, 114 Avenue?
135 Southwest 114 Avenue.
Okay. And forgive me, but I'm looking for it. Where does it say that on the reso? Or
on the ordinance?
Right. Or am I right to say that it's not set here? Is that?
No, it's not. We don't. I basically what's on the ordinance is the folio number.
Right. So the first thing that I'd ask staff to do is, I understand on the memo, but if we could just add the address to any folio number or any change in the near or distant future. Secondly, where is the owner of this property, and why is he or she not here?
They get I have the representative here.
Yeah, but hold on.
Yeah.
Let's do it in order. Do I have to open the public meeting first, or I have to let them go with the presentation?
It's your call, really, Madam President. You can go ahead and hear the presentation. You already heard from staff. You hear the presentation. After that, you can open the hearing for public.
Okay, so Glenn, can you do the presentation so we can open for the public hearing?
Excuse me, Madam Chair. If I could just finish my line of questioning first.
Oh,
you okay with that?
Go ahead.
What is the name of your client, ma'am?
EM Realty.
And the name of your client is EM Realty?
Yes.
And if you could just step up. You guys are proposing a 2-story multifamily apartment complex. Is that accurate?
Well, do you want me to just start my presentation?
I would love to. And,
Okay.
and then I'm sure I'll have more questions, so I'll yield the floor to you now.
Okay, thanks so much. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Chair, members of the Commission, and staff. My name is Lillian Sir. I'm an attorney with law offices at 2100 Ponce de Leon Boulevard, Suite 1180. I'm here on behalf of EM Realty Holdings, which is the prospective purchaser of this property and is under contract. We are here to, obviously, request a rezoning of the property. If I may, Madam Chair, I have some handouts for you, if I can approach.
Thank you, ma'am.
You'll note on the first handout is the existing duplex on the property. It was built in 1957. The second handout shows the multifamily building to the north, which is the yellow structure. That's the front of that the second page is the front of that multifamily project. You'll see the property to the south, which is another duplex property. And the property to the rear is an existing multifamily project. It is surrounded on 2 sides by multifamily. And we are requesting the rezoning in order to be able to build a small development of 6 townhouses. This is a rendering, a conceptual rendering of the project. We are not required to go through a site plan approval for this project. Everything is going to be built within code. No variances, no other requested changes. But I did want to show you what the architect has in mind. Very modern, very today. It's going to allow us to go from 2 units on the property, the duplex, to 6. We're going to be providing all required parking. We have sufficient water and sewer for this project. We think that it is going to be an asset for the city. As you know, Westward Ho continues. Everyone is looking for places to redo and redevelop. Sweetwater, Medley, this whole area is on fire right now because of the opportunities to create further housing for its citizens. And now with 19,000 plus citizens, you need more housing, I think, and especially with FIU nearby. We have the proper land use in place, which is moderate residential. It allows for up to RM24, but we are only requesting to go to RM15. We have RM15 adjacent to the property on the east side. On the north, I'm not exactly sure how that project was built. I don't think a rezoning, from what I can tell, was done, but the multifamily project does exist, so I'm sure it was grandfathered in. Ms. Jorge Vera already went through all of the requirements under your code. We feel that we meet all of them, so I'm not going to bore you with going through all of those. It's in my letter of intent. It's in the staff recommendations for approval. And with that, I respectfully ask for your approval. This is first reading. I do also want to apologize that my client was not able to be here today. He was previously scheduled to be on vacation, but he will be here for second reading.
Through the chair, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. My question is going to be directed to Mr. Vera. Mr. Vera, are they going to be any impact and concurrency fees on this bill?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. And what are the impact and concurrency fees on this build?
Well, right now, we haven't calculated because it all depends. It's 6 units. So 6 units, and it comes out to about $2,000 per unit. That's what the impact fees is.
Okay,
So-
let me try
so
my own mathematical
It
equation.
was around $12,000 for the impact fees. give
Okay.
or take.
What is the total value, if you can, ma'am, what is the total value of the construction from conception to turnkey?
I don't have that information. What I can tell you is that the units are going to be priced around the $300,000 mark.
Excellent. No, this is an excellent project. I know exactly the area. It's unfortunately a little dilapidated. You're obviously going to bring a beautification aspect. Looks beautiful, not to mention it's going to bring added revenues to the city of Sweetwater and impacting currency, not to mention our millage with the 6 units as opposed to the 2 duplexes. So excellent. With that, I yield the floor.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
I think it looks like a beautiful project. I have a couple questions. So this is for George. What are the current units per acre limits, and what will be the after adoption limit?
Excuse me. Currently under the comp plan, the comp plan land use designation there is 24 units per acre. And the comp plan is 25. The zoning will be 24, but the comp plan is 25 units per acre. They're asking for 15 units per acre.
So it's already in compliance.
It's basically in compliance. All they're doing is they had to change the zone to be able to build the RM15.
Okay, so what does this current zoning allow?
The current zoning is duplex.
Okay, so it's just changing the name and the status of the...
Yeah, and the density will be increased to allow 4 more units.
Okay, for the zoning. I think this, speaks to, an overarching issue that we have still yet to address over here. Marrying our zoning with our comprehensive plan, to making sure that they're both uniform in terms of density and what we allow. We need to take a look at, the entire city and plan for what we want. Our current zoning, and this isn't to you, but our current zoning, if you just look at, the color scheme, it's very, mix and match. You have one parcel of land which is zoned RM15, the very next one is RD, and then just to the south of it, it goes back to the RM15. It looks bad. And for us as a city to grow, and if we want to beautify the city, we need to make sure that it looks uniform and that it's planned growth. So, with that being said, I really want to urge you, George, I know that you haven't been in the city for, eons, but to really take a look at proposing a uniform zoning plan with our comprehensive plan that will contemplate a uniform development for the city.
That's been my intent, and I've been working on it as we speak, and I'm trying to get Miami-Dade County some of the plan, some of their digital plans to try to save the city some money. And I've been working with Miami-Dade County to see if they could send it to me, so then we could start with the IT's help, maneuvering and changing all the comprehensive master plan and updating it, because it needs to be updated, and they haven't been updated. And the same thing with the zoning. We need to update it accordingly. And I have to look at all the history behind it, because there's some information that is not properly laid out on the plans.
Okay.
And that's why these comp plans are not up to date.
Through the chair. Keeping in line with what you're saying that we need to get done as a city, do you need any resources to achieve it?
Yes, money. We need money just to be. Right now, I would like to see if we could get some type of computers that will allow us to manipulate the plans and the programs, and with IT's help, get the programs on board. And once we get all that, we'll have the plans, and then we could update them on a constant basis. But right now, we don't have anything at all to be able to update it.
Are we looking at something like AutoCAD, MicroStation, ArcGIS?
Something, it's GIS, mostly GIS, and that's what I'm trying to get from Miami-Dade County, to see if I could get their GIS maps for this area and the new the annexed area that we got, and try to combine them together. But we still need something here in the city to be able to update the maps.
Yeah. Okay. Through the chair, George, if I can ask you by the next commission meeting to present a proposed, scope of work with a budget attached to it, what you need from us to get that done.
I'll try.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm going to open the public hearing. Anybody wants to come forward?
Sorry. Jose Mejia, 10634 Southwest 5th Street. I just want to piggyback off of what Commissioner Borrero stated. We need to look at what we want as a city overall, and it needs to definitely be uniformed. I have contacted Mr. Reda numerous times. I don't know if the commissioners remember one of the last commission meetings. I had presented an official zoning map for which I received online, as many residents have access to, and Mr. Reda said it was an outdated official zoning map. When I had asked for a revised one, he stated he did not have one, as he stated moments ago. Now, most importantly, when I had continued to ask him and pushed for that revised zoning map, as you know, he's been proposing and recommending certain items, and if you don't have an official zoning map revised and readily available and easily accessible to the residents, then how are we even making competent decisions or recommendations for certain items? It's asinine. And so when I asked him for it and I pushed it and I told him I would come to this commission and speak about it, then he went ahead and he told me, well, he could give me a copy of what he has thus far, but he would charge me an X amount of money. Now, I don't think that's right, one, and two, I don't think that's fair. And please, if I'm wrong, you can correct me, Mr. Veda. I do have the emails, and I'll forward it to the commissioners tomorrow. And that official zoning map, when this commission has items like this to change the zoning, I would assume that you would need that official zoning map, so you can go ahead and make a competent decision whether approving or not approving certain items. And so I think it's an ill taste, and I think it's politically motivated to keep this commission out of the loop, one, and two, to go ahead and just totally ignore a resident's request for the revised official zoning map. And most importantly, there's not one municipality in Miami-Dade County that does not have readily available and easily accessible an official zoning map that's revised and up to date. I think that just proves that we're trying to keep this commission out of loop, and we're trying to keep the residents out of loop. And we need transparency. That's the whole point of a lot of individuals that ran here. We ran on the fact that we want a transparent government, and I think we should start with our zoning. That's very important. Like you said, Commissioner Borrero, we need to look at what we want as a city overall, and it needs to be uniform. And I cannot stress the fact that we need as a city affordable housing. I think we're concentrating too much on University City District, and we're not concentrating so much on affordable housing. Maybe perhaps offering incentives to developers that want to develop here in the city. I think that's something that we need to start. But most importantly, where is the official zoning map? And I asked, does this commission have a copy of it? And another thing, why wasn't the impacted fees calculated? That's a very important thing. Why wasn't it calculated before presenting an item? How would you make recommendations if you don't even have that calculated yet? I mean, we have to ask those type of questions. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? No one else? Okay.
Madam Chair, if I could address a couple of points that came up.
Sure.
First of all, impact fees are not a requirement as far as the items in the code in order for you to consider a rezoning. That is something that is calculated at the time you go for a building permit, but it is whatever is in the code. It was 2,000 and something per unit. As far as the zoning on the property, I do have a copy of the zoning map. If you would like to see it, I have copies for everyone. I don't know if you want to go over this. The underlying land use on this property allows for up to 25 units per acre. The zoning, which is the current zoning, which is duplex, falls under that comp plan designation, as does RM15 and RM24. So we are well within our rights to request the rezoning, the upzoning, and we're still in compliance with the comprehensive plan. I have a copy of that if you would like me to submit it on the record.
Please.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you'll note that I have identified where the subject property is, and that is, it's hard to see with these colors, but that zoning there is duplex. Behind it is RM15. Above it is the Twin Homes Residential. And then as you get towards Flagler, it goes back to RM15. So this project is going to offer a nice transition from the established multifamily projects down into the duplex and then single family area.
Through to Mr. Vera.
Hold on one second. Let me just finish to close the public hearing because it's still open.
Sure thing.
Nobody else want to talk, so we can close the public hearing. Public hearing is closed. Now, go ahead.
Mr. Vera.
Yeah, I'd like to address a couple of things. Mr. Mejia spoke. Yes, he did call. He did ask for the zoning map. I did tell him that the best thing for him to do was to come over to the office, and I will go over the zoning and I'm sorry, and the comprehensive master plan, because all I have are draft versions of it. I don't have an actual zoning map. The zoning map that the attorney just gave you is a perfect example. It's an existing zoning map that Mr. Mejia is correct, is not up to date. And even in this map, to the north of it is showing RD2, which in fact there has been a zone change there because you got over 8 units in that property there. So my job is not to give false information out to the public. My job is to give the correct information. I asked Mr. Mejia to come over and I will speak with him and go over the zoning maps. Or then he said, no, I want a copy. I told him I will make you a copy, but it's going to cost you X amount of money as per our code. He refused. He said it was supposed to be on the public record. there's no way I could put this system into the public record the way it is. So from the city standpoint, once I have the zoning maps up to date, they will be on the public record as long as I have the avenue to put it into the IT section. But right now, as you can see from this map right here, it's wrong. The northern section is also incorrect. There's been a lot of zone changes there, but there's no system that I could literally change the zoning map on a daily basis because of I don't have the IT information. I don't have any maps to work off of. So that's the reason that we don't have a zoning map or a comprehensive master plan map. The latest one that we had was in 2014, and that's when Henry Eiler from planning did the maps, and that's what we've been working on. And basically, I came in about 6 months ago into the city, and that's what I've been working off of. And the zone changes, I've been writing them down because I know that I'm going to be able to get something, and I'll be able to start establishing a zoning map for the city and a comprehensive master plan.
See you, sir.
Thank you, Madam President. What I want to state to the commission is that irrespective of the issue of the zoning map, from a legal sufficiency perspective, staff, Mr. Vera, has undertaken the proper review for a zoning change application. In your land development code, specifically section 9.06.02B, it delineates the minimum criteria for review. He basically walked you through the 8 different elements that have to be reviewed, and that application has to be in compliance prior to submitting any recommendation to this commission. He walked you through all elements, and in his professional opinion, I believe his memorandum states that since it is consistent with our comprehensive plan, he recommends approval. I just want to make sure that I channel this commission to what is it that you're considering at this point. And to Commissioner Borrero's comment relative to, taking a good comprehensive look at the city to plan properly. This particular type of application, it's what is going to give you that consistency over time, where you have an underlying comprehensive plan that finally you're getting zoning that is consistent with that. So ultimately, and this is something that the zoning director and I were discussing, even as I was sitting down here tonight, that there are some, we're taking a comprehensive look at that as far as you have the underlying comp plan designation and basically getting the right zoning districts in line with that comp plan amendment. So this is one of those instances that kind of gets you there. Ultimately, this commission has to look at the information provided by the applicant, the information provided by the zoning official, and view whether or not that constitute competent and substantial evidence to make your determination.
Through the chair. I think this is concurrent with what I've been saying as far as having a strategic plan in the city of Sweetwater. A strategic plan is something that all major metropolises have, and we do not have a strategic plan. It basically tells us where we are, where we want to be, and where we need to be. Part of the comp plan or the zoning map, we can basically listen to an applicant and vote upon approving or disapproving that zoning change. So in essence, we decide. So long as it's concurrent, so long as it's a professional, or so long as it's a beautification project, I think this is an excellent. I already know how I'm going to vote. But I really, and I keep stressing this at every meeting, we need to discuss developing a strategic plan in the city, not only for our comp plan, not only for our zoning, but for those things that we don't want to talk about, like the 40-year recertification of certain buildings in our city. This is a law. Any building that is over 40 years old needs to have a 40-year recertification. But it's not politically correct. It's not popular to impose that rule. But I think we need to start having these conversations if we really want to move the city forward. So with that, Madam Chair, obviously you have the last word, but I move this item.
I second. Okay. Madam Clerk? Okay, moved by Villanueva, second by
Commissioner Jose Alonso.
Commissioner Jose Alonso. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Villanueva?
Yes.
Commissioner Borrero?
Yes.
Commissioner Duazo?
Yes.
Commissioner Diaz?
Yes.
Commissioner Barreto?
Yes.
Commissioner Jose Alonso?
Yes.
Congratulations.
President Yaño?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. See you in second reading.
Yes.
Going to item D. A resolution of the mayor and commissioners of the city of Sweetwater, Florida, directing the mayor to procure through a competitive solicitation a new waste collection, bulk waste and recycling contract, directing the mayor not to exercise any options that extended the current contract and provided an effective date. Commissioner Duarte.
Move.
Second.
Okay, so we have
No,
moved
because you
by
answered
Villanueva,
I
second
say
by
for another
Barreto.
company, you're right, thank you.
Barreto?
Thank
Well,
you.
somebody else said second,
Second.
and by Diaz.
And Commissioner
And Jose Alonso.
Let me question, please, madam.
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Cuadra, you don't have time for the contract, don't have time for nothing, I say.
Your resolution, Commissioner, basically is directing the administration to begin a competitive selection process for a successor contract.
3 bill. For next company to come, Mr. Mayor, please, 3 bill.
Well, our code right currently says that you have to have a minimum of 3 bids. If you have less than that, then the commission has to waive
3
it.
bill is legal.
And I believe that, Cuadra, when you looked at the contract, I believe that they still have a contract till the latter part of 18. I think that's what we discussed a couple of months ago.
I don't think if it, let me take a look at that, but I didn't think it went all the way through late 18. I'll take a look at it.
I
and
know
then
when we
I'll
had
let you know tomorrow.
a couple of the workshops earlier in the year, I know that that's what we had discussed, that they had a contract till the later part of 18.
I'll take a look at that. In any case, what this resolution tells you is
starting the paperwork of the ITB.
Exactly.
Okay, so you ready to have the motion?
Through the chair, may I just ask a couple questions? So, number one, when does the current contract expire?
That's what we're
That's
asking.
what
We're discussing.
That's exactly
We believe
what
it's
we're
later part of
discussing
18.
It's in 2018, definitely. I'm not certain if it's later in the year, but but ultimately the resolution basically says in anticipation of the conclusion of that contract, it says do not extend, just go out and solicit through a competitive process a successor contract.
Okay, another question is, are we allowed to incorporate somewhere within the new contract a provision that amends the current status where residents are not currently allowed to dump at the county dump? Because I've had a lot of residents that have told me, they tried to over there, but they wouldn't allow them to. Is there any way that we can change that so that residents can dump over there, the one on 117th Avenue?
I don't think we can.
No.
I don't know.
We'd have to pay,
We
we'd have to
are
pay
not-
fees to the county for that.
We are not serviced by the county, and we do not have a current agreement of that nature with the county. That would have to be in place, independent of a successor contract.
So how did that change? Because I was told that they used to be allowed to do that.
That's, I believe, back when the county used to service the city.
Correct.
So that was something that they imposed on us?
No, they
When we went to a
were the
private home.
service provider, so that was one of the services that, one of the benefits of having the county be the provider of
Okay.
that particular
So
service.
we can look at waste management doing it again, or the county? And have that-
I believe that those issues can be explored, but there will be an additional cost.
Do you think that we can look at having the county or waste management provide those services and allow that option for residents?
If it's another private hauler, no. You fall back into the same situation. The only way that you get allowed is if you eliminate the private hauling, we go back to county services.
Okay. Okay.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
What is the length of the contracts for waste services?
I don't know. I don't know what the contract, I don't know, that contract was executed.
I believe it was 6 years. I believe it was 6 years.
Good amount of years ago.
6 years. Has anybody looked into how many complaints have been filed against the company?
A slew of them. Slew of them. You know, earlier in the year, we had continual workshops with the company and everything, and putting them on notice that it was just complaints after complaints after complaints.
Okay.
Last year, my recommendation was to try to do away with private hauler and go back to county services, where it was seamless. County services really are the way to go. You don't have the issue that if a truck broke down, they have a huge fleet of trucks, and you'll get another one, but your services will be there. You know, it's not something that you should be worried about or listening to the complaints of residents that my trash wasn't picked up or anything. It should be a seamless process that's happening in the background.
And keep something in mind, Commissioners, this resolution doesn't preclude, I believe, the county from participating in the solicitation, but the county typically doesn't follow that model. You go to the county and secure the services. They don't necessarily participate in a competitive solicitation, but so this vehicle essentially just directs the mayor to look at private haulers, not specifically the county. So I just want to make sure that even though it doesn't preclude the county from participating, in reality the county doesn't participate in competitive solicitations. So this would be just taking a look at private haulers for a successor contract.
As a matter of fact, I believe that Miami-Dade increased the rate for the waste.
Correct.
I believe so.
Yes, 464, something like that.
$25.
Exactly. So, and besides, I believe that, didn't we have a resolution with Commissioner Suarez just put on that we can only go to $300 and something just to remain the same? If I'm sure, go ahead.
We went to a private hauler.
Go to the podium, Commissioner. I want everybody to hear you, sir.
Yes, that's okay. I'm sorry. My name is Eduardo Suarez, resident of 11332 Southwest 7th Street. The city of Sweetwater went to a private hauler to save money. We saved the residents by my agenda, with the help of Commissioner Berguignan, save each property $67 in waste fees a year. So I just want you to keep in consideration that the county is more expensive, and I just heard that it even went up $25. So now that we are dealing also with the budget, make sure that we have enough money.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Really quick, when that analysis was done, did anybody take into account what it costs to run a crew on Sundays? Or what it costs our crew to pick up the trash?
The bulk
pickup.
waste? We used to pick up our own bulk waste before. When we had the county services, we did the bulk, and the county did the curbside, the green cans and the recycling cans. By privatizing, we eliminated that, so we eliminated to have 2 employees running the full week to do it. That was one of the other advantages to privatizing. If we go back to county services, we still have the trucks, so we would now have to start budgeting those expenses as well.
Okay.
Which I still say it's the best bet.
We have a motion on the floor, right?
Yes, we do.
We have a motion and a second.
In a second.
Yes, and a second. That's what
Several
I said. We have a
seconds.
motion and a second. So, all in favor?
Aye. That's a strong, adamant aye.
Strongest one to date.
Okay, we're going to E, discussions regarding the city's 2018 legislative priorities. Commissioner Barreto.
I would like to table both this discussion item number E, and item number G. Item number G we've already discussed with several of the residents who've come here. And then item number E, I think what might be best practice is if we allow our lobbyists to speak with each of the commissioners individually on what might be some of our priorities, and then from there, maybe have a workshop and a discussion item and bring those all together just for the sake of order. So table both.
How like that? Okay, we're going to item F. Discussion regarding red light cameras. Commissioner Duasa.
Sure, it's terrible. I received many complaints. You know, camera 114 and 109 between where they live. You know how many apartments? 196. You know why? 114. Los Robles. All the people around for here, from Flagler. Social. These people coming for money. It's terrible. I don't know why. I talked to the chief, they replace 3 and take it, but it's impossible. Number 1, how much pay stay? Number 2, how much pay the company installation of the camera? Number 3, use one police, any people. Go to appellation. Pass un juez arriba. One lady is coming for the pay. How much money for the city? You know why? I'm looking for my people. My people is terrible. Salary terrible. Rent terrible. It's impossible. $158. Hay que tener corazón a ese pueblo que estamos pagando 158 pesos y el día que no pueda porque tiene el mes malo son $277. ¿Por qué? Para que ingrese dinero a la ciudad. Nosotros hemos sido elegidos para defender a mi pueblo. Nosotros hemos sido elegidos aquí para defender las necesidades del pobre y el que tiene, y de todo el mundo. Y estoy hablando hacia mi pueblo, que se ha hablado mucho en español, y me han llamado muchos. Señores, es imposible, comprendan. No podemos soportar el problema de las cámaras. Nosotros muchos los podemos pagar, pero otros no. Y no lo han impuesto ahí. Esta noche debió haber venido Juan Silva, que es el presidente de la asociación Number One. Yo soy el presidente del Number 2, son 196 apartamentos. Él me dijo, si la cosa se pone dura, yo recojo 500, 600, 700 firmas para protestar eso. Está en manos de los comisionados. Yo soy una persona que represento a mi pueblo, como ellos representan al pueblo también. Please, si es necesario, comprendan esta situación.
Okay.
Los dejo a ustedes.
City Attorney, I just have a question. These cameras, they have been replaced. They were relocation from the ones that it was previously removed from the DOT?
I will yield to administration. I have the specific answer.
Okay, then.
With respect to that.
This is a new contract, you don't know either?
No, this is the existing.
The existing contract.
Exactly.
You know when the existing contract expired?
No, I will have to check on that, ma'am.
Yeah, so we need to find that out.
May I? Wait. May I?
Go ahead, sir.
It's possible. When they finish the contract, it's coming for here, out the camera. Commission has the power for put the camera or out the camera, right?
I believe there's a termination clause in the contract, and it could be exercised following the parameters set in the contract for termination.
My recommendation, Mr. Quadra, check when this contract finish.
I will do that.
And next meeting, okay?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
I have one question to the city attorney. Okay, when this contract that is effective now expire, do they have to bring a new contract, or this is something that's going to be renewing by itself?
I believe that there are extension clauses. I would have to go back and check out. Honestly, I don't know it off the top of my head, but I believe that there are extension clauses that could be exercised by the city.
Okay, no, because I just want to make sure that if we're going to be presenting a new contract to the commission, or the existing one, when it's about to expire, renew by himself.
Let me take. I'll go back and take a look at the contract, and I'll submit something in writing to the commission.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Go.
May I ask you, sir, if you can identify yourself?
Okay, hold on a second. I'm sorry, sir.
Sure.
You ask to the sheriff, or just wait, so you wouldn't make a comment?
Well, I mean, I would like to know his name so I can address
Yeah,
him.
but he hasn't even, I haven't even told him to be on the, we have to have an order. It's just like, for some reason, I don't want to be rude, but it looks like everybody here is conducting the, I'm not trying to mention any name, conducting the meeting. Let's wait to hear portion, let me just tell him to please, start talking. That's what the reason, I need to follow, the order. Go ahead, sir.
Very good. Good evening. My name is Orlando Torres. I am with American Traffic Solutions. I work for the company that provides support to your red light camera program. I'd like to answer a couple of questions that were already came up just for clarification purposes. I'd love to answer any other questions that might come up. The current contract was renewed for 5 years in, I think it was October of 2016. It's a contract that will exist for the next 5 years, and it's a contract we are very excited about partnering with the city to continue providing those services. There are, at the end of those 5 years, automatic renewals that you can extend if you would like to, but I think there's also a clause in there that allows you to say that you don't want to renew automatically and you can terminate after the 5 years.
So it would be expired 5 years from now, 2021?
2016, so yeah, 21. But
21.
around, I think it's October 2021. And then there's an opportunity, and it was something that you discussed last year. There was a lot of discussion about it, as it always is. And while I understand the passion behind it, I understand how difficult it can be for some. I'll ask the question this way: what about the other citizens that do obey the traffic laws? What about them? It's a burden on everyone that runs a red light to pay $158. Very, very true. But the answer to that would be is to follow the traffic laws that have been in place since the beginning of traffic signals, and then there's no violation. And when it does happen, your city does a really good job of talking to the citizens, speaking to the citizens, and making sure they try to help them out with that. There's local hearings so that it's less than the $277. Sometimes they'll dismiss them if it's something that's very close. And the idea behind the program that you put in here was change driver behavior. And you've done that over the years. Your violations are down. And remember that the program is funded by the people that run the red lights. Another number that's important is, while you're thinking that it's the majority of citizens, less than 15% of your citizens are the ones getting the tickets. So what your police department is doing is really protecting all the other citizens that want to be protected by ticketing people driving through your community that don't obey the traffic laws, whether it's speeding or running red lights. So it's really a benefit to the police department. It's a tool. It's like having radar. It's like having body cameras. It's a force multiplier for them to be able to enforce your red light camera laws 24/7, 365, really from the safety environment of an office. So it's really just something that helps the police put more eyes on the street. Additionally, you've pulled video here more than 300 times since the program started for crime investigations and accident investigations. So again, it's really a community tool. It's just all we're doing is providing technology so that the police can do more. It's impossible to hire enough police officers to be able to take care of the red light runners. It's impossible to hire enough police officers to be able to take care of all the other issues you have. So not tying them to watch red light cameras, using technology is really a benefit that you chose, and I think it's a great thing that you've done. But again, remembering that it's about changing behavior. In your community, less than 10% of the people who get a violation in Sweetwater and pay it ever get a second notice. So that means you're changing the way people drive. And in this case here, because of the way your city is, most of those people that are getting the violations again are not your citizens. So I'll answer any questions I can. I appreciate the time and opportunity.
May I, Mr. President?
Okay. Any commissioner want to say anything?
I remember past election. Mr. Villanueva.
Sir.
I say, mention name. Mr. Borrero, Mr. Diaz, and Mr. Cecilia Jorge Alonso. I say, save the money for my city. You know? Save the money for my city. But not for my people. For my people it's very important. You represent another one. How many cities not having in this moment camera?
I believe
If I may add that you've got 19 municipalities in Miami-Dade County's 32 municipalities that have red light camera programs. City of Doral just restarted their program because they wanted to use it because they saw the police chief saw a rise in accidents and crashes during that time. Another important number is that you mentioned earlier with the cost. This is not costing your city anything. It's violator funded. The monies that are being collected out of the $158, the city gets $75 out of that, and $83 goes to the state. Out of the $83 that goes to the state, $10 goes to local trauma centers like like Jackson Memorial to treat people that have been in accidents. $3 out of that goes to the Miami Project to cure paralysis, to treat people that have had issues and accidents where they're tragically injured. So your program has done a job of collecting enough revenues to operate and not cost taxpayers or the city a penny in the whole time you've been doing it. That's a great opportunity to have that. If there's additional funds that have been available, that's also great because you can put it into something else in your community. Violator funded. It's people that ran a red light, and it's not even close. The police do a great job of letting the close ones just go. It's not worth it if it's that close. What they're trying to do is get the people that just run the red lights, risk all of our lives, myself included when I drive through here, and they're trying to change that behavior. You've done a great job of making that commitment. I commend you on that, but it's violator funded.
Let me explain to you.
Yes, sir.
Why trying discussion? Maybe you don't know. I worked for my city 37 years. 15 years director and 22 commissioner. And every day talk to me for many years, similar tonight. Collect money for the city, for me people pay. What they saving money, the commissioner saying, yes, they save the money for my people. Okay, that's it, 4.5, okay, this is impossible. But this, for collect money for the city, for 4 people. How many receive? 2,000 in the year. How many? You don't know, director, how many money camera receive city, mayor?
There was one, I believe there's 4 more now?
No,
or 3 more?
He tries to know how much money actually the city would get from the county.
So what I could tell you is from previous years, so you had a big change over the last year. April of last year, FDOT came in and did all kinds of construction. So you went from having 8 cameras originally that you voted in to having 1 camera. So over the last year, that 1 camera, April to April, the city has brought in $65,000 after it paid the state and after it paid ATS's invoices. So $65,000 to operate 1 camera and whatever your internal costs are, which that I do not know. Previous years, it's been as high as $1 million that have come into the community. But again, these are from people that broke the law, paid the ticket, and they went ahead and paid their fees. And that's the monies that are left over. So those funds probably were used for many different things in the community, and that's wonderful. But this is not a tax by any means. This is someone that didn't stop at a red light. And hopefully when you make them change that behavior like you've been doing, maybe the life they save could be their own life, because when they run a red light camera, there is just as much as risk as you and I. The other thing that you do very well, which is very, very smart in your community, is you enforce right-hand turns. Very controversial. I get that. But what you're doing there is you're protecting the citizens that are crossing the streets. In the last 2 years, the Institute for Highway Safety noted that the largest increase in fatalities at intersections are pedestrians and cyclists. So again, you've taken an extra step to protect your community. Remember again, Commissioner, it's a valid point. Only 15% of your citizens in Sweetwater are getting those tickets. That's a fact. That's not an estimate. That's just a fact.
Wait. Let me see. 107 flag is okay. Wait, another camera. Or the commissioner say save the money for my people.
Okay.
I don't know why said the commissioner. I respect the opinion of the commissioner. But maybe any commission say I good camera. It's in the record. And so it's my opinion. You know why? This Constitution.
It's a wonderful thing.
This is my opinion. I don't know the election where you say, I approve camera, I no approve camera.
It's a wonderful country that you have the right to do that. It's a great place that we all live in. And I respect your position on both sides. I also understand it's very emotional for the community. And something that I've offered many times here in the past years is to help the community understand better how does this work, what happens, who issues the violations, how much does it cost. We'll pay for a complete public outreach program. We'll set it up for you. We'll write it up for you. We'll create education. Doral, when they just restarted, we created brochures, videos, things they posted on their website, social media. We did them in English. We did them in Spanish. We've done them in North Miami in Creole. So we will help your community understand how it works. And the idea behind it simply is if they know that they've got to stop, maybe the life they save could be their own life. And we're willing to support that. We'll pay that public outreach out of our pocket. We'll create the website information. We'll be happy to post it for you. English, Spanish. We want to support it. We want it to be good. We want your community, your citizens to be safe and not run the red lights. That's a good thing.
I respect your opinion.
Thank you, sir.
Pero
you have to agree. Totally.
Yo I'm not working for your company.
I understand.
I work for my people.
Absolutely.
Yo trabajo para mi pueblo como trabajan estos comisionados.
I respect that.
Usted hace bien en venir a defender lo que las cámaras, pero eso nos trae a nuestra ciudad un perjuicio muy grande porque la gente, la renta, los sueldos que ganan 23, 30 mil, son un hijo, 3 hijos, no pueden, y usted es magnífico, pero para ingresar dinero a la ciudad, yo no creo que el alcalde tampoco esté mucho de acuerdo en eso.
So to respond to that
Ahorremos.
to respond to that is, remember, this is your program. This is the program you brought into this community to protect your community. We simply offer the technology, and it's a business. It is a for-profit business. So there's a charge that we have for the cameras, and we fronted all the money for the city up front, millions of dollars to put the cameras, and then over the years it comes back. So it's an important thing. I respect your position, and I will tell you that the simple way to put us out of business, and not us, red light cameras, the citizens just need to stop. Running red lights, everybody. It's
Let me
dangerous.
opinion on the commissioner what he say. Any
Sure.
question?
No, he has, go ahead, sir.
Through the chair.
Went through the chair.
I know initially there was a huge issue throughout all Florida. There's a big legality issue.
Yes, sir.
What is the current status of the legality issue?
So I will
with
certainly
running red
defer to your city attorney on providing details, but as far as where it stands today, there was an initial ruling out of Hollywood that was called the Aaron ruling. And what they did in Hollywood was that they decided that Hollywood was giving ATS, we were the vendor, unfettered discretion to issue violations. And I'm glad you brought it up because it's a really, really good question. What happened in that case is the business rules that govern the program, you have business rules, you tell us what to do, were never issued into the record. Therefore, they made a ruling based on there was only unfettered discretion, and they really didn't understand how the process worked. The good news is that you guys have always had business rules, and you've always followed the proper process. So what ended up happening there is the next case that came up was Jimenez in Aventura. That was the same issue. And they said that they gave ATS unfettered discretion. In the 3rd District Court of Appeals here in Miami-Dade County, it was ruled that the city of Aventura was doing the program properly and within the statute and within the state law. But the important thing to remember there is that it was never ATS issuing those violations. We can't. The program, all we do is we provide you software. Your officers have to review it. Only they can approve it. Only they can issue it per statute. So what ended up happening is just recently in Miami-Dade County, your judge here, your traffic judge, Judge Leifman sat down with every single program, yours included, and ruled that you guys were doing the program per state statute and we're following and we're doing it the right way. And even Hollywood was doing it the right way, but the difference there was they never got to submit their business rules. In the case before the District 3rd Court of Appeals and Judge Leifman, they presented the business rules and the judge said you're fine. Okay. So it's in a good place.
And then one other thing, and it could just be idle rumors, but how are you guys powering the cameras?
Powering the cameras.
What are they tying into? Are they tying into the cities?
So what they do is it's either FDOT right-of-way, county, or city, but bottom line, there's a power source at the base of the camera. And then in Miami-Dade County, we have the ability to tie into the electrical impulse that comes out of the signal. So what it does is the signal changes. And it's a great question because the way it works is the cameras trigger on an algorithm that figures out based on the speed of the vehicle to the intersection, based on the crosswalk, based on the distance to the intersection, it triggers a camera. It might fire 100 times, but out of that, it doesn't mean there's 100 violations. So what we do is we simply trigger when the light is changing. When it goes yellow to red, it marks it from the electrical impulse in the box, and that's how they figure out the changes. But all we're doing is we're taking a still shot before the person crosses the intersection, after they cross the intersection, and a 12-second video that shows the person going through. The officers get that and they determine, you know what, this is a violation or it's not, and then they reject it and it goes out.
May I
go ahead?
I'm sorry, really quick.
That's okay.
Because the way I see it is, you're using the city's power, so in a way it is generating.
I don't want to misspeak to that, but no, it's not the city's power. We pay for the power. As a matter of fact, we paid $19,000 per site to Miami-Dade County. We are now having to every time we redo your cameras, we're eating the cost, but we're having to pay that again. So just to be clear on that, because it's a great clarification point. Okay. We initially set all the power because it's our own electrical source. And the funny thing about it is in the last year, there were some changes at the county, and now we have to do that all over again. So for the sites that we're rebuilding for you, we're eating those costs. We're not passing that along to you.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Those 3 cameras that have been put on 109 and 114 Avenue, when on 107 will be finished. Okay, they're going to go back to 107 Avenue.
So the expectation is yes.
And
those
Flagler, and the other one was on 4th Street and 107.
Whatever.
Okay, what's going to happen with these 3? They're going to remain?
So you have the original 8 cameras, and I think most of them were on 107.
107, yes.
The concept there is once Florida Department of Transportation completes that, Those sites will be rebuilt. That was the agreement. The additional sites that were added to the city was agreed upon by this commission at an earlier point during the negotiation to add additional cameras to put more protection around the city, more eyes on the street, and those intersections were identified as dangerous intersections by your police department. So they were selected by your police department and by your decision when you renewed the contract.
Oh, that was in 2016, right?
I'm sorry?
That was done in 2016?
That was executed 2016, yes.
Okay,
So what happens is we provide traffic information for the intersections to the clients. We turn that over to the clients, and ultimately it's going to be the police department, based on their street experience, and the commission on their experience within the community to say, you know what, these are the sites where we need some additional cameras. But again, we work at your direction, so if that's a decision you all made, we certainly provided those options for you.
Please, the contract include 109 or 114. In the contract, she said to me, localization the 3 and 4 here, but in contract had the 109 or 114.
Commissioner, the contract when it was renewed last year incorporated the old sites, and it is inclusive of the new sites on 114th and 109th also.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to look at it.
So to answer your question, it includes the old sites and then the new locations, the 3 new locations. Yes.
Okay, another question. Legal question. Commission has the power for elimination, and no decir elimination, I don't know who.
Commissioner, that question came up around the time that that contract was being considered for renewal, and I recall my answer, and the answer is that the company, in their fulfillment of their obligations, plays a great deal of infrastructure in the city to basically take care of the red light cameras. So they are fronting quite a bit of the cost. Okay, to the extent that this commission wishes to terminate the contract prior to the 5 years that it has, we have to look at some point making, in the mechanism that is provided within the contract to deal with the issue of the money that they fronted for that infrastructure, because the city at that point, if it so happens, we're getting out of the contract earlier, so they're not going to be we're not going to be fulfilling our obligations under the contract. So to the extent that they have placed infrastructure in the city to place the cameras at great cost, we may have to reimburse some of that cost following the mechanism in the contract.
Please, you talk to Carlos Hernandez Ayalea. I don't know why you see. Finish the camera. I don't know the 2 or 3 cities more. What is solution for elimination camera? To anyone?
I can check, Commissioner, but my feeling is probably the expiration of a contract.
Elimination.
More than likely, it is the expiration of a contract, because getting out of this contract earlier than its 5-year term may come at a cost to the city relative to the infrastructure that has been placed by ATS.
Through the chair.
Wait, no finish.
No hasn't finished.
Please. Esto es un crimen que están haciendo con mi pueblo, porque yo no represento solamente Sweetwater, represento también, porque a todo el que cruza por aquí, pues me dice, no, la gente de Sweetwater nosotros los ayudamos. No, todo el mundo. Y es imposible que ahora, hasta el año 21, yo no lo sabía, voy a ser sincero, perdóneme, pero es un crimen que hasta el año 21 tengamos cámaras y los pobres infelices tengan que pagar 105, y los viejitos cuando salen de los robles, y cuando viene una persona a pedir más dinero en el social aquí, que tiene que pasar por la 114. Yo sí le digo, yo estoy opuesto a eso y estoy claro, yo defiendo a mi pueblo y soy elegido por el cual. Es mi opinión, no sé la opinión de los demás comisionados y la respeto, porque esa es la comisión, porque para eso tengo aquí mi librito de la Constitución de los Estados Unidos y sé expresarme y sé lo que digo. Ahora los demás comisionados son los que tienen que tener la palabra, y si la ley lo permite y se puede hacer de acuerdo con las conversaciones que tiene con las demás ciudades, le estoy hablando a mi pueblo. Nos lo informa.
El tema de campaña,
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
When did, because I know that they just basically renewed the contract back in 2016, correct?
Yes,
and then before that, it was, when did the red light camera start? This was back, must have been
2009. I believe
Nine?
it
5
was,
years previous.
because there was a 5-year program. There was
Mhm.
a 5-year initial contract. Then there was a renewal last year for another 5 years. Again, the question asked earlier, there's an automatic renewal clause in there, but you have as the last contract, as the last year comes in, you have the ability to write a letter saying you don't want to automatically renew. You do have that option. Our intent is to continue to support this program. Our intent is to execute the 5 years and support your community whichever way we can, through education, through public information, whatever it is that you need. But our intent is to ride this out and support your community.
Because I've had a couple residents complain, and obviously they're probably the ones that have been caught by it. Now, I know that this had to be initially voted in by the commission.
Yes.
And I know there are some of the members here, and I know that obviously safety was the #1 issue on everybody's mind at that time. Basically, if we were getting so much complaints about it, what was the decision to renew made, or why was it made?
Traffic safety. This has always been traffic safety.
So the goal has not changed.
What's that?
The goal of safety has not changed.
It's always been traffic safety. There was a look that was done, a study was done with the police department to see where the most amount of accidents and red lights are run. 114th and Flagler is huge right now, as is 109th Avenue and Flagler. Previous to that, now it's slowed down, but previous to that, the #1 intersection that was always being run was 107th and Flagler. Previous to the cameras being installed, there were 1 or 2 accidents per week there. Some of them even tragic, and there were fatalities in them. Once the cameras were installed, I know that you had provided, Orlando, you had provided the stats to us. The amount of people that were running red lights as well as traffic accidents in that intersection went down from, to like 25% of original. Do the cameras curve behavior? Yes, they do. When they're not there, people are running the red lights. When they see that the cameras are there, they do slow down, they stop running the red lights. These have never been placed in to produce revenue, but rather for traffic safety.
Okay. Can you do me a favor? Can you send me that statistic, or at least the commission, forward it to the city?
Sure.
Because I know there's going to be an ongoing issue, and definitely if it comes to discussions, I want everybody to really be aware of what the gravity of our decisions. With that, I yield the floor.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Go ahead.
Thank you. And
That's my question.
Madam Chair, I think you're doing a great job, by the way.
Go ahead.
To the best of your knowledge, I don't know how well you are acquainted with the terms of these contracts, but do you know if there's a penalty for terminating a contract right now with the city?
There would be a financial penalty. 'Cause
What is that penalty?
I don't know. I mean, you're into a 5-year agreement. You're basically 6 months into a 5-year agreement. Our expectation and hope is that we continue that 5-year agreement, and if it's a breach of contract at this point, then we'd have to look at that. I don't know what the number would be.
Okay, well, I for one, I understand, obviously, I think we've gone through both sides of the argument. I don't think that public safety should be a for-profit business. And $158 off of the backs of low-income residents who are quite frankly scraping to get by on a weekly basis is a devastating impact. I've spoken with thousands of residents, who can't pay an extra $100 because that's their money for food, for groceries. People in the city who are 90 years old, 100 years old. I've run through the numbers with Chief Diaz. The numbers that I got were not the numbers that you stated to me as far as the proportion that city gets. It's far less. I think we get maybe 20% of actual revenues, and that's if they're in the green. If you're actually covering costs. This in my opinion is not just a violation of privacy, but a devastating financial impact on residents who I know can come in and maybe they do get waived their ticket. But a lot of residents don't know that. A lot of residents will not know that. And the 55% whose cases get adjudicated and actually have to pay, it's really difficult. I think from the numbers that I ran with the chief, it was $300,000 that we get annually after the 5 cameras are contemplated and established in the city. But most of the monies are going to American Traffic Solutions. And like Commissioner Duasso stated, we're not in the business of giving money to American Traffic Solutions. We're not in the business of creating revenue for the city through public safety. We are in the businesses of public safety, but there are other means to do that without creating a huge economic blow to thousands of residents in this city. That'll yield the floor.
So I respect all sides. Very emotional, but let's get the facts straight. So the facts are that $158 ticket is not a devastating situation. Now,
For some people it is.
Let me finish. But I respect the fact that people are in a bad spot. Now, the way to avoid that is don't run the red light. It's a traffic law. It's a danger to me when I drive through your community. It's a danger to everyone else that's here when we drive through your community. So we have to understand both sides of that. The $158 was levied by Florida by state statute. It wasn't something that ATS did. So there's a way a mechanism to be able to talk about, is the $158 really the right number? I don't know. As far as the dollars that come in, it's very simple. It's very, very simple. There's no argument about where it comes. It comes from 4 places. The revenues that are paid by the violators, and it's a violator-funded program. The police doesn't have any other program. When they buy police cars or body cameras or radars, that's paid by the city, by the taxpayers, by a grant. This is a violator-funded program, but it's very simple. Whatever the violator fees that come in, whatever county court pays you after the people go to county court, you subtract out what you pay to the state of Florida, which is the $83 that I told you about. Then you subtract the invoice that ATS sends you. That's the formula. And I had this conversation over the years with this particular program because there's been a lot of inconsistencies of how it's looked at it, but it's really that simple. Be happy to sit down with you and anyone to show you. These are the numbers, because it's really eye-opening when you start seeing it, that the numbers are just very, very basic. But I respect the fact that it's a burden to a lot of people. But I also got to remember that you talk about safety, you're also in a very difficult position. You're trying to protect all your citizens. You guys make very, very tough decisions up here. This is a tool for the police department. This is one safety tool, not all the safety tools. This one happens to be paid by people that break the law. And the good news is, if you want to look at it that way, it's not the majority of your citizens that are doing that. As far as they don't know, they don't understand, I've offered many times here at my cost, full public outreach program. Educate your people in English, Spanish, however you want, workshops so people can come in and figure it out. And we'd be happy to do that so that they'll understand what the law is, not to turn on right, whatever that happens to be. But it's not that we're circumventing the law. We're just helping you folks uphold the law. And it's a difficult job. There's no way you can protect your community from red light runners to be able to put officers in every corner. You just can't afford to do that. You'd rather have those officers freed up to do the other things that are very important to the community. So I respect where you're coming from. I asked for the opportunity to show you the real numbers so that you can understand. As far as making money off of anybody, we provide the technology, just like the people who come in and provide you guys laptops or whatever they might do. It's a business. And you do have options of doing it or not. The community chose to do that. I commend that commission that did that for doing that for the community. And again, our intent here is to support you for the next 5 years and help you execute the safety program that you have in place. Thank
I have
you.
a question for the city attorney.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Just for the purpose of all the commissioners, can make a decision, because I know this is going to come up again. Is there any way that you provide us, if they decided to cancel the contract, how much money the city would have to pay, so they all can have that information?
Sure.
So
I
at
can
least
do
they
that,
can have a
certainly.
picture, so they can see exactly how much it's going to be cost
I understand.
if they decided to go that route.
I'll be happy to do
Let me
it.
go into it. You have contract in your office.
I have the contract, yes.
You check how much, say in the contract, how much money paid for finish the contract.
That's what I'm asking.
I'm going to be taking a look at that, Commissioner.
In the contract,
Yes.
how much necessary to pay? Tell me.
Excuse me?
You finish your contract.
Well, I'll sit
You
down and work
represent your company and you don't know?
I know that there's
It's a
probably
formula.
there's probably 52 months left that you would owe on your contract. There's there's still net book value of the original cameras that we put in, the ones that we're rebuilding, eating the electrical costs and things like that we intend to recover. But we don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about helping you have a good safety program so that you can educate your community so that they're safe and nobody is running the red lights. I don't care if they're 90 or 20. We don't want anybody running the red lights. You made a great choice by using technology. I commend all of you for doing that.
Your position is very, very nice. But this is not Cora Gable.
That's fine.
This is not Coco Plum, this is Sweetwater. It's Sweetwater. Sweetwater, many people low income.
Everywhere.
You don't consider?
Everywhere.
No. It's Sweetwater.
City of Miami,
different.
City of Miami has the same problem.
I'm sorry. I live 45 years in Sweetwater. I ran for Sweetwater for many, many years. I consider. You know consider the salary, rent, 4 or 5.
You're right, sir.
Boy, it's
understand.
impossible. For your company is beautiful. For your company is beautiful. Pero es muy importante que todas esas cosas las tiene que pagar mi pueblo, pagando multas cuando no existen, no han existido estos accidentes en la 114 en Flag ni la 109 en Flag. Si hay accidente ha sido en la 100 en Flag y la 107. Pero ¿cómo mi pueblo va a pagar eso? Allá ustedes los comisionados, yo estoy clarito.
Through the chair. Well, I'm going to stick my foot in my mouth. As a former policeman, I hate giving tickets. I can't stand it. But unfortunately, it's a requirement from the job from time to time. I would much rather use discretion and try and educate the driver. Now, there are those drivers that you cannot educate. Unfortunately, enforcement is the only way to educate a populace. I can tell you that I've responded to multiple fatalities within our municipality. And I know that the theory that the red light cameras scare people, and they do slow down, and it does prevent people from taking the red lights. But I'm conflicted with the red light cameras because there are some things pertaining to our contract that I just don't like. So I'm gonna, before I stick my foot in my mouth, I just want to verify. Every time we put up a red light camera, that costs the city of Sweetwater how much?
So every camera that's going up will be $42.50 per camera per month. We're going to front $120,000 to build it.
Right, so $42.50 is, what is that number again?
$4,250 per month for every camera we build. We will front the $120,000 it costs up front, and then we try to collect that back over the years.
Right, so we're talking about roughly 40-some-odd thousand a year per site. Is that accurate? Okay.
Per your invoice, yes.
So that's the first part that bothers me.
Okay.
That we're giving ATS. If I just may, I just want to get this out. I just want to, hold on. I've waited for everybody to speak. I just want to get this out. And then you'll have your opportunity.
I just want to make sure you have the facts.
That's okay. That's why I said you'll have an opportunity to verify what I'm saying, which is why I'm asking you questions. If I make a statement, it's because I think I know what I'm talking about. But if I ask you a question, it's solely because I want, you're the subject matter expert. Under the previous police administration, when Chief Menacall was here, you were with ATS. You started with the city of Sweetwater. You started this program with former Assistant Chief Eduardo Fuentes, who's a very, very close personal friend of mine. Okay. During the tenure of the next administration, he was then a lieutenant. But he was at one time an Assistant Chief of Police for 8.5 years.
Okay.
And I remember that ATS, or the red light cameras, are generating roughly $1.1 million a year to the city of Sweetwater. That's great. Let's just say it was $10 million. As a former policeman, the money doesn't concern me. It is about traffic safety. But if you look in your system where it says administrative dismissal, you will see the name Villanueva more than any other officer in the city of Sweetwater.
Okay.
And I say that open to everyone, because I don't believe a resident who walks over or runs over at 5 miles an hour over the crosswalk line should be cited $158. I don't believe somebody who takes the solid red light, making a right-hand turn going 8 miles an hour, should receive a $158 ticket. But I do believe somebody who takes a solid red light with wanton disregard for traffic safety, I do believe they deserve the traffic citation. So as a former enforcer of the law, when someone blatantly takes the law and throws it out into the garbage, we should most definitely enforce the law. But I can tell you, and I'm almost certain, and which is why I asked that you come back to me. You said that the city of Sweetwater roughly receives, the residents represent 15% of the citations
that are issued, yes, sir.
Okay. Is that a general percentage that you use per municipality or specific to Sweetwater?
No, it's Sweetwater, your zip codes, your billing addresses.
Okay. So that's why I say that, because I can tell you 400 residents a month are not receiving traffic citations from the red light camera. So I'd actually challenge you to come back to me with that. I believe it's less. I know this because I specifically look at this item.
It's a good thing.
It is. I can tell you that when residents walk in to the police department and they show a red light camera ticket, the first thing I do is I ask the red light camera operator, go into the system and tell me how many traffic citations they've received as far as red light camera. If somebody has received 8 red light camera tickets, I'm not going to administratively dismiss that solely because this person is not learning their lesson. But if I have a resident who's an elderly person, I take all these things into account because in law enforcement, we can use our discretion. And I see, you know what, this person's never had a traffic citation. They went over they made a right-hand turn, they were going 12 miles an hour. No, they didn't come to a complete stop, but you know what? I can go ahead and administratively review it, and I put my name on it. So when someone comes, when a channel 4, channel 7 comes, and they did come, and I said, no, I put my name on it because I don't like red light cameras. But I do respect the fact that my traffic fatalities have gone down. My traffic accidents have gone down. And yes, we have traffic fatalities, but I'm conflicted. So rather than look up a contract dismissal clause that may cause us millions and millions of dollars, within ATS, is it possible to change the structure of our agreement? So that's the first question I have to you. It's simple yes or no.
Depends on what the change is. It's sure anything's. We can discuss anything.
Good. So, for example, can we issue more warnings? Can we have a warning system as opposed to, here's your fine, take it?
That's by statute. You know, you can't. That's the Florida statute. That's not our process. That's the Florida statute.
I understand, but per statute, the officer has the discretion to issue a citation or not.
To dismiss, right. I mean,
right.
And this, again, you bring up a great point. I'm glad you brought it up. This is your program. I have nothing to do with what is issued, and it's the discretion of that officer. So those questions are probably more for the officers that do that. You had a chance to do it, so you can relate to it. But what you decide to issue or not issue is absolutely up to you. And like I said, you guys do a great program, because I've been down there when people walk up, and you're very fair, and you look at it. Even that person that's an elderly, whatever, it doesn't have to be elderly, whoever walks in has none, and you want to give them a break, the fact that they got a notice, you already changed their behavior. I guarantee it.
I agree.
The discretion is all you guys, all the police department. That question is probably more to them, but you certainly experienced it.
I agree, and I saw it firsthand, but I cannot dismiss what Commissioner Duaso is saying. He obviously does not like the red light cameras.
That's okay.
I believe he's saying it obviously for his own personal views, and correct me if I'm wrong, but obviously residents that have told him, I hate these red light cameras. Now, I take it a step further from the enforcement standpoint. I asked these residents, have you ever received, you live in the city of Sweetwater? Yes. Have you ever received a red light camera ticket? And they go, no. But obviously nobody likes receiving a red light camera. I will tell you, whether I like the person or not, when they come in, we review it. But unfortunately, what Commissioner Borrero says is a lot of residents don't understand that they actually can. So,
and I want to help.
So kind of to mitigate that, to piggyback off of what Commissioner Diaz was saying, can I have a promise from you that you will allocate certain monies to advocacy, awareness, and promotion of the project?
Been offered anytime you want. Happy to do it.
Good. How much?
I can't tell you a dollar because we do all that in-house, so it's just a part of our services. What we offer you guys as part of the services, take advantage of those kind of services. We provide them.
Okay.
It's part of what we do. It's part of what we did when you first started the program. We spent thousands of dollars to do it. We're ready to do it anytime. I wish more clients would take advantage of it because, like I said, Doral just did that, and it was a great kickoff to restart it because we did exactly what you said. Very, very value added.
Okay. And the next thing is, and I'm going to go ahead and yield the floor because obviously we're going on this too much. The police administration has your contact info, correct?
I think they do. Bunch of cards, yes.
Okay. So I'm going to contact you, and I'm going to try and initiate an awareness program citywide.
Awesome.
That way we can bring awareness to our residents. Again, I'm conflicted. I don't like the red light cameras. But as a former policeman, I like the fact that we're saving lives. Traffic tickets suck.
They do.
No one likes getting a traffic ticket. I sure as heck didn't like giving it. But there are those drivers that deserve them. So I'll be waiting. If you can email me, I'd appreciate it. And with that, I yield the floor.
And the good news for residents, something we've been seeing over the past years is residents are requesting videos themselves because they're trying to defend themselves from he said, she said at an intersection and for insurance purposes. So when you issued a ticket on the roadside, that red light camera ticket, it's my word against yours, chances are you win. The other thing is it's got 4 points to come with it, and it's $277. When this violation comes out by one of your police officers, it's $158, no points. And so again, yes, everyone's got their financial issues. I respect that totally. But the outreach program is a great idea. I've been hoping that you guys take advantage of it. We'll do it in English and in Spanish.
Well, now you have your opportunity. Just
Excellent.
email me and
Good.
Ok. Lo digo con humildad. No estoy creyendo. Está naciendo mi corazón hacia mi pueblo. Hay más comisionados aquí que es el momento de decidir si saber sus opiniones. Esto es como el matrimonio, o lo acepta o lo calla para siempre. Pero además, comisionado, yo quisiera sentir la opinión de ella. Si lo desean, esto es una cosa que yo no digo nada. Pero después no me vengan a decir, yo estaba puesto con la cámara. Porque si ahora es el momento y no hablan claro y sé las opiniones de ellos y tienen el derecho de estar a favor de las cámaras, es el momento de decirlo y se lo estoy diciendo a mi pueblo. Ahí hay dos aspirantes a comisionados que me están escuchando. Un señor que fue comisionado, sí, señor Ruiz, usted, el señor Saúl, y usted, señor Suárez, que fue comisionado. Estamos claros que somos elegidos para defender al pueblo.
Okay, Commissioner Duarte, just what you're saying about just to give our opinion in reference to the red light cameras. We already have been asking for information, like how much would it be if we need to cancel the contract? So that information that I believe all the commissioner needs to have it before they can make a decision. We're asking for the information.
Madam President,
and then we can bring it back up.
I just want to remind the commission that this is a discussion item, and as
exactly.
such, no decision and no action can be made.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That we are asking for information.
May I?
Go ahead.
I know I'm for discussion. It's not for resolution, not for nothing. Right? En this moment es posible que Mr. Mayor le diga a nuestro director de finanzas que yo tengo las mejores informaciones de él, que no de una relación de las cámaras. Porque él habla que dinero por aquí, dinero por allá, pero es para la ciudad. Y mi pueblo paga. Ahora bien, yo lo que no deseo después, que me vengan a decir, no, yo me quedé callado porque yo estaba esperando la información del señor abogado. Y aquí estamos bien claros. Hay definiciones y habemos 3 comisionados más, o 4 o 2 del lado ya que no se han definido. Tienen razón y se pueden callar, porque aquí lo que tengo en la mano es la Constitución y la Constitución lo dice que ellos pueden callarse. No hablo más. Perdóneme.
Okay.
Okay, so I believe that we just wait for the information that all the commissioners have provided so they can add it. You know.
I will work with your city attorney and I'll get back to a couple of the requests.
So if we bring it back again into the agenda, at least everybody have all the information that is needed. And before I go, let me ask you something, just for my knowledge. The city of Miami still have cameras?
Yes.
Oh, they
so,
do?
you know, you bring up a great point. When all the Aram stuff was going on, a lot of people read a lot of stories that were unfortunately not accurate. And so a lot of people thought the red light cameras were turned off. And what we saw across the state, when people thought the cameras were off, guess what they started doing again? Running the red lights. And then, but the city of Miami never. There's 19 cities in Miami-Dade County that kept the red light cameras. Like I said, now 20 with Doral that restarted. Boynton Beach just restarted last week. So it's a matter of what you want to do for your city. How do you want to use technology for your city? What's the best way to spend the dollars for the police officers? And we want to be part of that. We appreciate the opportunity to do that. I'll work with everyone. If you've got a question for me or you need clarification, the better I can educate you and provide you information, the better for everyone.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Una recomendación por mi amigo Cardona. Me permito el lujo de decirlo, Cardona. Hemos conversado mucho, hemos luchado juntos perfectamente. Pero mi opinión, yo defiendo a mi pueblo. ¿Por qué si un señor viene con una lucecita apagada, le ponemos el ticket? ¿Por qué no le ponemos un warning?
En sus manos está, usted dirige eso.
We don't give warnings.
¿Por qué no le ponen un warning y le ponen un ticket que vale 10 veces lo que vale la luz? Por favor, en mi pueblo. Estos pueblos al cual tú eres investigador o eres mayor, ¿verdad? Y estos son los policías que te escuchan a ti. Yo no sé cuál va a ser la promesa de usted, pero si me contesta, se la contesta a mi pueblo, no a mí. Un warning. Póngale un warning. Dígame usted, no sé. Me contesta con la cabeza, pero no sé lo que está escuchando mi pueblo.
Muchas veces eso es lo que pasa.
Pero nunca le ponen, no, con mucho respeto. Vienen muchos rushis y muchos nuevos que quieren acumular y les gusta un ticket. Pero es bonito que a mi pueblo infeliz se le ponga un warning y lo pone enseguida, ¿verdad?
Y sinceramente eso pasa muchas veces.
Pero va a pasar. No
y
va
sigue-
a pasar
y
más.
sigue pasando.
Usted va a dar la orden que ponga un warning. En ley así.
Es la descripción
no está,
de
no está
policía.
infringiendo la ley.
Y muchas veces eso es lo que pasa. Paramos a la persona y se le da un verbal warning.
Con mucho respeto para usted. Yo estoy en la calle. Usted me ve todos los días a mí en la estación de policía y me ve en la calle. La gente me habla. Pero si parte de usted la orden o parte del chief que no está aquí, está de vacaciones, yo hablaré con él y él diera orden que le ponga un warning. Ahora sí, el warning no lo pone, ahí mismo se lo pongo. ¿Me comprende? No sé la opinión de usted oficial. Pero usted representa a mi pueblo. Usted representa la ley. Usted lo representa todo aquí. Y es usted, comandante, y usted recibe su sueldo, como lo recibimos muchos aquí, de ese pueblo que paga los impuestos. Y ahí veces no puede. Yo le he visto llegar allí a buscar al policía para que le firme, mira, yo lo puse. Y dice, no, tiene que ir arriba a pagar el ticket. Carmona, por favor, llénese de sentimiento, llénese de amor a este pueblo que es lógico en su mayoría. Es un pueblo humilde. Y vuelvo a repetirle lo que le dije al caballero. Esto no es Cocoplón, no es Farandable, esto no es Kendall. Esta es mi ciudad linda de Sibora. Por favor. Dígame usted, ¿no me dice nada?
No, se lo dije, como le dije, muchas veces...
Yo no, muchas veces no. No, yo no le estoy diciendo que viole la ley. Correcto. Yo le estoy diciendo que cumpla con la ley.
Claro.
Pero ¿cuál es la diferencia? Un warning para que lo ponga y no tiene que pagar un ticket. Es terrible.
Vamos a seguir trabajando en eso.
¿Va a trabajar en eso? Usted se lo lleva al chief.
Con mucho gusto.
Por favor. Y entonces cuando usted me contesta que usted va a dar esa orden, porque una orden que parte de ustedes y ellos no pueden hacer otra cosa.
Casi seguro que nos vamos a ver en los próximos días y
Muchas gracias.
seguimos conversando eso.
Lo invito en el Versalles si usted me da esa resolución para mi pueblo.
Muchas gracias, comisionado.
Yo estoy llevando mucho esta noche, pero me perdonan.
Thank you. I'll be very brief. Thank you, Chair. Jose Mejia, 10634 Southwest 5th Street, Sweetwater, Florida. En primero quiero darle las gracias al comisionado Dualzo por presentar esta resolución para hablar sobre estas cámaras rojas. Siguientemente me gustaría darle las gracias al Chair para preguntarle al abogado de la ciudad por cierta información que ATS no lo tuvo preparado hoy. Para tener un discurso competent discussion, ¿no? Siguientemente, igual como dijo el comisionado Duazo, aquí hay varios candidatos que son ahora elegidos, que corrieron y hicieron campaña sobre the campaign point de que van a eliminar las cámaras rojas. El comisionado Villanueva fue uno y otros varios fueron. Lo que propone ahora el comisionado Villanueva, it's like putting a band-aid on top of an injury rather than going to see the doctor and healing it. Usted corrió para eliminar las cámaras rojas y si te echas para atrás ahora, enseñas perfectamente que eres un político. Otra cosa, the state, to answer Commissioner Borrero's question, the state gets over 50% of that. ATS gets a fee, a monthly fee, and then the city gets less than 30% of that, probably close to the 20% that you had stated. And then another thing, like you had asked ATS, where do all these alleged statistics come from? Why don't we have, graphs, et cetera, documentation proving those alleged statistics? And then another thing, all the residents, todos los residentes odian las luces de las cámaras rojas. Como dice el Commissioner Owasso, como lo dijo Madam Chair, Commissioner Borrero, this is a low-income city. La gente no puede pagar eso. And then another thing, changing behavior, eso no sucede. It really does not. A lot of times people don't even remember or recall where a red light camera is. Y la gente, somos seres humanos y cometemos errores. Cometemos errores, y para cobrarle a una persona que vive de $700 al mes, casi $200, ahí se le va su comida, ahí se le va el seguro del carro. We're not, like you said, Commissioner Borrero, we're not in the business to attack the residents and costarle a ellos dinero. Si de verdad queremos cambiar public safety, ponemos más oficiales en esas intersecciones donde sucede eso. And one, we get more money per that citation, and then we have even more of a greater ability to say, hey, mira, aquí un warning, tranquilo. I've been on ride-alongs, and I've seen that happen with other things. So why don't we do that with the red light cameras? And I urge los comisionados que corrieron y echaron campaña sobre ese item que lo hagan. Si no, shame on you, and I will continue calling you out on that.
Thank you. No complain. Why? Any people stop. Wait and say, please, denme su licencia. De otra forma, muchos rookies le dicen, denme su licencia. Why? Why?
Through the chair.
Tan fácil que decir, deme su licencia. Yo he sido pro policía toda mi vida. Tan fácil que decir, deme su licencia, deme su circulación, deme su seguro. ¿Estamos claros, oficial?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
In response to Mr. Mejia, I don't know what fantasy world you're living in. I never ran a campaign based on red light cameras. Yo no sé en qué fantasía, en qué mundo usted vive, pero yo nunca hablé sobre las luces de cámara, sobre mi campaña. Los ataques tuyos, uno se cansa. Y gracias a Dios, y solo a Dios, que Dios me ha dado la paciencia de mantener profesional durante sus discursos por los últimos 2 años de esta comisión. Usted sabe que yo no te voy a hacer daño. Usted sabe que yo soy incapaz de ponerte un dedo, ni como funcionario electo, ni como policía. Usted habló que usted montó con la policía durante su campaña política. Es un hecho. Pero no fue la primera vez que usted ha montado un carro policía. Porque usted ha montado en la parte de atrás de un carro policía muchísimas veces. Cada vez que usted viene para acá y se para ahí con esa cara dura y me ataca, te voy a responder con los hechos de la vida, porque usted es un sinvergüenza. Usted es una falta de respeto. Usted no tiene ética ni moral. Y cada vez que yo hablo te respondo. Yo sé que las tripas te hacen así. Que Dios te bendiga. Quizá usted necesita ir a la iglesia más o entrar una vez.
So can we move on? Item H, appointment of Planning and Zoning Board member co-requirement. Commissioner Borrero.
Okay, thank you so much for waiting, Marcia. If I can call you to the podium, just say your name and address, because I would like to nominate Marcia Zurros, who... Marcia. No, pero dije,
She doesn't want you to embarrass her.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to be embarrassed.
Marcia. Hablé con Marcia y I'm speaking English. I spoke with Marcia, and she's been a longtime resident of the city of Sweetwater for 47 years.
Yes.
Knows her community very well, loves her community, has had the distinguished honor of serving as a nominated member of Eduardo Suarez, our former commissioner, as the Planning and Zoning Board for 2 years. Done a really good job, and I would like to see her continue to serve on that.
May I leave a clarification? I pass resolution. Any meeting, city pay $100 city pay $100. I pass this resolution. Any meeting, city pay $100 for. Right? You don't know?
Yes.
$100.
Yeah.
You have many responsibilidades in your position.
Okay. Mi nombre es Marcia Suros. Vivo en 10320 Southwest 4th Street, Sweetwater 33174. I've been a resident of this community since 1976. Okay.
Mamma mía. ¿Ya los enanos estaban aquí casi?
Ya. Cuando se fueron los enanos yo llegué.
Perdón, todo era fango, todo era fango.
Yeah.
Fango, mucho fango.
Anything else that you need me to say?
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Now we're going to item I, appointment of Planning and Zoning Board. Member, code requirement, Commissioner Diaz.
I will have to defer to the next one. Apparently, me and Borrero were vying for the same person.
Oh, brother. I'm glad I got her first. Good luck.
So, you beat me to it, so I will need to do a little more research and find somebody who's adequate.
Okay. All right, then we move on to item J, ratification of department heads, code requirement.
As I tried to do in the last meeting, ratify for the building department, Manny Salazar.
Move. Second.
Wow.
Congratulations.
All in favor?
Aye.
Finally.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Speech. Habla.
Mari, please say something.
Yes, please.
Just say thank you and write out, man.
Yeah, it's 11:30. You got to work early tomorrow.
Commissioners, thank you very much. I've been doing this for about a little over 15 months now, I think. And my best interest is to serve the city of Sweetwater and its residents the best that I can.
Thank you, Manny. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mari.
Congratulations, man.
Okay, now we go to reports.
No, okay.
Okay, that's true. We have an addition. Where did I put my addition?
Alan.
Okay, item K, resolution of the City of Sweetwater authorizing the purchase of 1226D kit steer loaded or equivalent model with attachment. Okay, appropriate the funds authorizing the mayor to spend safe funds and provided for effective day. Okay, and
Move.
hold on.
I've got questions.
We don't have questions. Go ahead. I'm going to ask.
I'm sorry, through the chair.
Okay.
So I was looking at it, and definitely one of the things that I was noticing as part of the purchasing process is you guys are going to be doing asphalt. I see you guys are also planning on doing sidewalk replacement, and again, all these things are something that I advocated for when I was running for commissioner in the city, which is public works. I just don't see how it works insurance-wise. I mean, if something goes wrong, what do we do as a city? And I guess this is a question either for the mayor, for the city attorney, you know.
I don't understand the question
All
particularly.
right, you guys are requesting a 24-inch cold planer, right?
Well, we're asking for a skid loader, and that's one of the attachments that we're asking for.
Well, as one of the attachments, but obviously you're doing it with the intention of doing asphalt, right?
That's
Repairing
correct.
deficiencies on asphalt.
Yeah, the reason we're asking for this skid loader, besides being a multi-purpose tool, is because we get a local option gas tax every year to the tune of about $200,000. It's impossible for the Public Works Department to perform that kind of work with hand tools. I think it's about time that the city bite the bullet and go ahead and provide the proper equipment. That's what we do. We're the Public Works Department. We're in the business of repairing sidewalks and streets. And without the proper equipment, we can't do it.
What's the current backhoe that we have?
We have a backhoe. It's a huge piece of equipment, but it's not adequate for the kind of work that we need to do. We've used it before in sidewalk repair work, and what we do is take the bucket on the backhoe in order to chip the concrete
out of the sidewalk, the segment of the sidewalk that we want to replace. And what we end up doing is tearing the section on either side of the one that we want to replace, and we end up replacing 3 times as much sidewalk as we intended to or needed to.
Do we have a saw cutter?
We have a saw cutter, and we saw cut the slab before we try to chip it out. But you have to understand that the back part of the backhoe is a very rustic piece of equipment. You can't surgically remove concrete with that type of equipment.
Do you feel a backhoe's, or I'm sorry, a skid steer is better than a mini or a combination, or?
Well,
because
yeah,
I would assume that the work that you're going to be doing, you would like something that can move a substantial amount of material as well.
Well, the backhoe, if we had to move a lot of equipment, is adequate for that, the bucket on the backhoe. But this particular piece of equipment, the skid loader, also has, as one of the attachments, a bucket. So depending on the size of the job at hand, we'll either use one of the pieces of equipment or both.
Okay.
Now, the reason also that we decided to go with Caterpillar, although we provided the prerequisite 3 quotes, is the Caterpillar that we own, I mean the backhoe that we own is a Caterpillar, so the attachments are interchangeable. And Mr. Mejia, who I'm sure will be speaking to you momentarily, claims that the John Deere is $1,000 less than the Caterpillar. It's actually $200 less. But since we own a backhoe that's a Caterpillar already and the attachments are interchangeable, the attachment that you guys approved last month, the auger to plant the trees, which is a $5,000 item, if we were to buy any other brand other than Caterpillar, we would be rebuying that piece of equipment for the Bobcat, spending an additional $5,000 for that. And you can, times 4 or 5 attachments, you're spending $20,000 or $30,000 unnecessarily to buy attachments that you would need for any other brand other than Caterpillar.
Okay.
Let me question. You don't have another one? You have one?
Have one what?
Similar, you say buy. Yeah, you have one.
We have a what? A skid loader?
Not for sweeping. You have one of the tractors in here.
We have a backhoe. It's a completely different piece of equipment.
Too old?
No, it's.
I buy one event in the department.
Yes, it's fine. It works great. It's just not what we use for the sidewalk repair and street asphalt repair that we're doing.
How much it cost? 59, say.
It's $59,000 plus.
Mr. Mayor, why you taking this money? Maybe approve.
From equipment.
Oh, you equipment. How much you have in it?
It's coming out of capital
And
improvement.
how much you have for the equipment? You don't have 59.
It's coming out of capital improvement.
You don't have 59, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, there's money there to buy it. If not, it would not be allocated to an item.
Commissioners, the bottom line is that we get
No, it's coming out of capital
$200,000.
improvements.
Never 59 for the equipment.
It's not coming out of equipment, sorry. It's coming out of capital improvements.
Yeah, capital improvement. Okay. To the chair, one more thing. I want to stress that the city gets approximately $200,000 from the local option gas tax that can be used only for sidewalk and street repairs.
Let me play.
With hand tools, we cannot do that.
Let me. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we are having problem with the sidewalks in 105th place. Is there any possibility there can be fixed?
Ma'am, we keep a list. If you simply call the Public Works Department, we will put it on the list.
Mr. Viera? Vera. Oh, Vera. Mr. Vera.
There's problems throughout the city.
You know, the sidewalks problem and the driveway problem that we had in 105th place?
Yes.
Can he fix it?
Oh, I have to talk with George. There's enforcement cases on that, so I have to talk to George about it.
With this new equipment that he's getting?
I don't know. It's new equipment. He probably do sidewalks, but I don't know if he'll do sidewalks that are in violation.
They're not in violation anymore, but
from individual. He could fix sidewalks, but at a cost to the city. because we gotta pour concrete and all that, but we have the money for that.
Okay. Question. Your department is my baby.
I'll add one more point.
Wait, please.
You've got something else to say? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
You wait.
let's move on
Me
because
down.
it's getting late.
Let me see. Your department is my baby.
I think a motion is needed to extend the
Needed to
time.
extend, yes. I have a motion to extend the meeting.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye. Let me say.
So we can finish.
Okay.
You ready? Your department is my baby. You know why? In this moment, commissioner for working your department. Why working for my city, for me? You know?
Well, I'm taking
Let
care
me
of your
question to
baby.
you. Is necessary this?
Yes, absolutely necessary.
Yes.
Absolutely.
How many people you have working in your department?
Well, in all, probably 15 or 16.
No. For
Yeah.
working the city. Work.
Yeah.
Now you come to the Flaco. Flaco is
Between
one
mechanics
officer.
and office personnel and field.
How
crew,
many
yeah.
people working for you? No clean, no, for the work in the city. 4 or 5 people, that's it.
All of the people that I
4 or
have
5,
work in
that's
the
it,
city.
¿verdad?
Huh?
4 or 5 people.
Not enough, he needs more.
16 or 17, but I
Oh,
could use
well,
3 or 4
no,
more.
easy, people working for the clean and whatever. No. For the working for the city, clean the city, work in the city, sidewalk, and everything.
Commissioners, thank you
4 or
very
5,
much.
no?
Thank you.
Yes,
Yes,
we'll
let's
talk
move on,
later.
sir, because
Madam President.
we are really getting
Commission
real
President,
late.
if
And
I
only
may
one
really
minute,
quick,
please,
yes,
because
that's fine.
you know,
I just wanted
I'm
to
trying
touch off.
Please everybody,
I
pero
know, sorry.
Te vas a contestarme.
Yes, 1 minute it
1
is.
minute.
1 minute. I just want to touch off what Mr. Allen said. I think we need to bite the bullet and get proper equipment, like he said. Although the quote that I got you guys from John Deere, it's $200 less, in reality, it's $8,200 less. Why? Because if you see in the quote, it's a 330G skid steer loader, not a 226. So we're getting more bang for our buck, 1. And 2, per John Deere and Nortrax, the steer loader that we have, that we're going to plan on getting, and hopefully we don't, it's not going to work. It's safe-wise. It's not safe to function that. Why? Because when they pick up the broken cement and asphalt, they have to obviously dump it onto a dumpster. And that 226 steer loader, it's not high enough, and it doesn't have the proper capacity to go ahead and throw that into that dumpster. So what they're going to tend to use is a ramp. And when you use that ramp, then you have the issue of someone falling over, flipping over. I think the 330G is much better.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, but we really
Okay.
Second.
move on.
Second.
Who moved?
I move.
You
Commissioner
moved?
Second.
Second. Okay, moved by
Commissioner Villanueva and Commissioner
and
Damaso.
second by Commissioner Duazo. Okay.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
No, tú no me quieres a mí.
Okay, report. Police and code enforcement report is attached, right? Park and recreation reports.
Through the chair, I'm sorry. I'm gonna make one quick request, and that's in for the next meeting, the police and code enforcement report. I would like to actually meet with somebody who's in charge of the code enforcement, especially in terms of licensing. I know it's always been a huge issue with Dolphin Mall and licensing, and I hear that they're coming in line, but it's still an ongoing issue, and that is something that I would like to address.
As far as what?
Them not getting their licenses on time, going almost a year without pulling a license.
Oh, the violators.
Yes.
You're absolutely right.
There were also, well, it's not my
He ha hablado por
department.
3 semanas.
They're a person short.
He ha hablado por 3
We
semanas.
had a code enforcement officer before the layoffs that was specifically tied to Dolphin Mall, and we had that up to date at that time. But since he was laid off, they're the person short and they're having the problem.
Okay, so let's move on. City attorney's report?
No, they understand.
Mayor? Reports?
The only thing additional would be to say that the drainage project on 2B South has already gone out to ITB. Last week, they had a pre-conference meeting, so if any of the possible bidders had any questions, they would submit to the engineering department at the time, but we should be in the ground by October, November with this project.
I'm sorry, was it a pre-bid or a pre-con?
Pre-con, pre-conference.
Pre-con? Okay. Who won?
Nobody. It was just any questions on the bid. They still have, I
So
believe, till,
pre-bid.
yeah,
Okay.
till next week, I believe, too. Week or two more to turn in their bids.
Okay.
Okay, now we have commissioner report, and I would like
Hello.
to. Commissioner report, I would like just to see if all the commissioners agree that we could have our first workshop for the budget on August 23rd at 8 o'clock.
Yes, 8 o'clock.
I just want to see.
What day of the week is that, Madam President?
Hold on.
Carmen,
I
aren't
think it's a
they already
Wednesday.
scheduled?
There's a meeting scheduled for.
that is a
No, the workshops, the budget
The
workshops. aren't these
workshops,
scheduled?
we don't have anything
No, we don't have any
scheduled for
scheduled.
workshops.
Can we have something before then, Madam President?
Well, I would love to participate, but I'm leaving to New York on the 14th for a week.
Okay, then obviously.
At 8
that-
p.m.,
we-
right?
On the
obviously-
21st, 22nd, 23rd, 24th, 25th, I don't care about any day.
No, that's
What
fine.
time?
8 o'clock, well, we
You-
always do.
Everybody needs to be there, and yeah, the 23rd is fine with me. That's
23rd, is everybody okay with 23rd?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Okay,
I
go ahead.
also-
Yes.
Madam President, I also wanted to have the finance director present that day. So if we have any question, we can ask him.
well, staff.
Well, the finance director,
Yeah.
he
the
knows.
finance
Yeah, he'll be here.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Jose Alonso, you want to say something, ma'am?
Yes. Here I go again with 105th place. Last Saturday, Mayor, like 6 or 7 houses where all the cars outside were broken into.
Yes, I'm already aware of
Oh,
that.
you are aware of it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So it's a continuous thing. My car twice within 4 weeks. What do you say? Like a motorman's.
Yes, I heard that there was
This
somebody that
is
was
a
walking through a neighborhood
continuous
and
thing.
looking to see if there were
I
any
don't know what's
vehicles
gonna
open.
happen next time.
I don't know why you're asking to see if I found out. I did find out. Apparently somebody went searching all the cars and he broke into cars that were open. And he apparently attempted to burglarize 6 vehicles down that block.
Yeah. Plus the 3 cars that I have in my house.
Well, 3 open? Were 3 at your house?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 3 in my house, my neighbors,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like 7 houses. 6?
No, 6. 6 houses. Yes, I was told the following
I
day.
just wanted to talk about it because everything happens on my block.
The block is hot.
Yeah, it's hot.
Commissioner
currently-
Alonso, go ahead, hurry up.
We currently have a watch order in the area, and we're also putting together some operations so we can hopefully curb some of that activity from happening again.
Okay, thank you.
Comisionada Cecilia Jorado.
We need to hire more cops, and that's, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
No, it's okay, go ahead.
We need to hire more cops, and I'll tell you what, I take great discomfort in knowing that a commissioner's house gets burglarized. As a former policeman here, if 3 of your vehicles are burglarized, I understand it's a crime of opportunity, but I will tell you, yes, your block is something else. 105th place, from Flagler to 4th Street, I don't know what happens on that block. I don't know if there's some sort of demon that has possessed that block. But whatever happens in Sweetwater, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. But I will tell you that we obviously need more policemen, and I hope that you support in the upcoming budget hiring more police officers in our city.
Okay, so.
Okay, wait.
Please.
Nice, hey, question to Cecilia.
Okay,
Wait, Cecilia have camera?
No.
In my house?
No,
but
between your house.
I'm gonna have cameras.
There was a resident that did have a camera, and we were able to get some still pictures. We have identified the person, and we're investigating it.
I guarantee maybe in 72 or 7 days, the police round.
Okay, item G, elderly service program report, a special projects report, building and zoning report, finance report, where was it? City clerk report, ma'am? No? Human resource report, unfinished
Move.
business, New business? Good of the order? What? Motion for adjustment.
Adjournment.
Adjourn.
Move. Second.